Hello and welcome back to Money Twitter. I'm your host, Jesse Massey.
Along with Connor Ashley. What's happening?
What's happening? We got a great show for you to hear today. And the first thing that I think is probably worth starting out with is I came across this post yesterday. It's a Genius VSL. This is from Joshua Gavin. Genius VSL, hide the sales process and objection handling in a viral format that is native to the platform. Soon, people will be faking these and scripting the arguments so the guru always wins in the end. So I'm curious, have you seen the Jubilee videos?
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I don't know if I've actually been to the channel, but I've seen a few clips cut from it.
Yeah. So basically what happens here is
you have the whole circle around, everybody sitting and waiting to talk to the one guru expert with an opposing opinion.
And it essentially turns into like an argument, right?
Yeah.
That's the entertainment value of what's going on.
Everybody wanting to jump in and have their turn to just kind of shout at the other person.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
basically try and shove their idea down the other person's throat.
Exactly. For whatever reason, I can't actually access. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Just keep talking for a
Yeah.
minute.
Everybody trying to defeat the other person, it becomes a battle like the back in the day.
It's the internetification and casino economics of the internet. We can't help but like watch. Okay, look, I'm gonna not try and find this. Actually, I was gonna try and do it.
Where are you trying to go?
Well, I want to watch.
Oh, you wanted to watch an actual one?
Just the first couple of minutes of it, just because I think this is a fascinating enough of an idea that like
just put like a simulation one together. Take a screenshot that and then put it into an AI video. It's something that like into Grok video and say make it like this, right? And then it'll like add the people and give us like a little simulated.
Okay, so already this is fascinating, right? Like if we take a look at this thumbnail, it looks exactly like the Jubilee videos, Dropout versus Students. So let's just watch. Like,
I want to talk about the course that you're selling. There we go then. That admits it.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm actually going to agree with you on this.
Maybe my God, here we go.
Success at a young age is usually because of luck, not skill.
Most people like you as scammers. I'm not saying you're a scammer.
My first business was selling weed.
Okay.
When I was 13.
Provide what? This is a very general claim. Do I want land like it's the 1800s?
You know what? I'm head over heels for you. I'm gonna, whatever you're doing, you're with me now. I'll provide. I'll take care of you.
Do you think a doctor's jealous of you? Mr. Andrew said, it's just a clear-cut scam. I mean, it's...
Like, we're going on a whole tangent based on what?
I'm probably a walking example that college is a scam. So my name is Samir. I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out when I was 16. I've made a fair share of money online, around $40 million over the last couple of years. I have an online program where we teach people how to do the same. And yeah, I'm probably a walking example that college is a scam. So that's why we have you guys here today to debate me and see who wins.
Most people who will work 9-to-5 jobs are simply just entrepreneurs.
I just want to watch like the first interaction because I want to see if this is actually like properly scripted. We should be able to like tell from like the guy talking.
Hello. My name is Paul Fabian. I'm a current medic, future cardiothoracic surgeon, hopefully West Side. Do you think a doctor's jealous of you? Do you think, I mean, the point was that people that work 9-to-5 are jealous of entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think some like primary school teacher that's helping children learn languages and helping children's special needs education overcome difficulty jealous of money's not everything, like data doesn't picture me. Fuck the money, tell me more about you, you know what I mean? So that's what kind of going on. I'm sure there are some people that are jealous of you, but I think there are also a good majority or a good portion of people that are jealous of people, entrepreneurs.
So I give you something. The beautiful thing about money and entrepreneurship is you can do whatever you please and you can help whoever you please. So for example, in my example, I love education. Even though I'm a dropout, over the last 2 years, I spent over $1 million building schools around Africa.
Okay. I don't think this is scripted, actually.
That's interesting because the intro, I was like, this is just pure comedy, and they're just like, it's like the whole thing is like they're trying to troll people, or like it's a comedy show, is what I was picking up from the whole intro.
Yeah, I'm just. It doesn't look like anyone. He's calling this scripted. Interesting. Okay, so like this, he basically utilized the model that's already working for Jubilee and used it in order to address objections. This is actually really smart. I mean, look, a couple of years ago when I first started like posting direct call to actions to like the stuff that I was selling, you kind of, if you're doing it organically on social media, you kind of have to disguise what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like running an ad where you can just be like, hey, this is exactly what this is for. If you're interested, click the button. If you do that, you're just not going to get views, right? So you have to disguise it. This is one of the smart, I won't even say smarter. I think this is one of the smartest disguises of a course that I've ever seen. Because again, you come down here, join Brandify.
It's the new version of just a VSL, right? So it's instead of like having a landing page or whatever, like ClickFunnels back in the day, where you'd have the whole conversion thing and then all the question, like the Q&As down at the bottom, all listed. Now it's like you have the living Q&As because you get to see the debate of the people coming up and asking the questions that are like the perfect setup in a way for the expert to answer and just be like, just crush everyone, right?
That's kind of my question here. I wonder if the questions that they brought to the table were indeed scripted, but like looking at this group of people, like if I just go back, like I don't think that she's someone who necessarily like came to be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to support my homie who has a course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think even the way that this guy like read his question, it was off of a phone. But when you're acting and you're trying to like deliver lines or whatever and be entertaining, it's pretty much immediately recognizable and noticeable to at least me, just because I've been doing it a long time. This guy is like actually reading a question. So whatever they did here, I think they probably paid these people to come and participate and to bring genuine questions to debate this, 1 million.
I wouldn't say the whole thing is scripted for sure. I mean, there might be like one or two in there that is, right? I mean, if you really wanted to set it up, that's a good way to do it. Like you have a little plant there's a lot of different contexts where you can use that. Not that everybody does that, but it's one of the intelligent moves.
Like that's his teammate.
Events or different things. Yeah,
that's his teammate.
You have one person's a plant that like allows you to like, you can kind of just like tee it up, right?
Well,
to at least have like one solid win that like maybe gets people a little bit shaken or like on their, on
or
their toes.
one person who comes in with the actual objection that like people actually need, like in your fact.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they deliver it, and then they're like really dramatic about their response to it or whatever. And that's your plant. I could see that happening as well. I just participated in something where the prize was like X amount of money or whatever, and I was one of like the competitors for that prize, but going in I knew that I was going to like lose essentially. But I was there. Yeah, that was the plan. I was there to kind of like provide some interesting plot development, because they were trying to run it sort of like reality TV. So I was like, I'm good with not winning, but like I'll bring some drama. It'll be good.
Nice. And
some drama I did bring. So yeah,
that's fun.
I thought this was fascinating.
No, I think it is cool. I hadn't seen this before actually. So it is interesting. I will say definitely from the intro it gave, I was like, oh, this whole thing is scripted and it's like, it's fake. But when I'm looking at it now, like, you want to have real interactions, right? You want to have like the real, like questions that you don't know all of them coming in, like maybe a couple, right? And then that'll boost your confidence too, and you'll know how to set those up. And then the other ones that aren't you're already in the frame really, where you can just like you can take those on as well.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching this entire thing today, but I would be interested to see how hard these debaters come in to argue against his point of view. Because if like it's not like a political issue where you're coming in and like debating like immigration or anything, right? You're coming in and just debating like, oh, like, should you drop out of college or should you like do whatever? I guess people might have.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
That's
even bigger than politics, I would say, because I mean it's an identity issue that they're talking about here. He's like, oh, here's the path and the identity and like the like your life choices and like where you should be going, and everybody else is like, I've been told my entire life I need to go to college, and like, this is the pathway, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll watch the rest of it today, see what's going on. The creator of this is Samir Mitwani. Hopefully we can get him on the show at some point and talk about how they ideated this particular video. But I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I might watch that as well.
Yeah, cool use of a VSL.
You got me intrigued.
Oh yeah, nice. This is more of just like a macroeconomic thing. So this post says, turn that I told you so into $20, introducing wager prediction markets with your friends. So basically like sitting down with your friend and being like, yo, Alexa's def going to be late again. She's always, she going to show up tombout. Some subway was delayed. I don't know what tombout means, or talking about or something. $20 says she's in after 11. You're on, and then you bet on it. Have you ever seen the movie The Big Short?
Yep.
You know the part where he like
I have.
immediately gets on the phone. He's like, "We're in a bubble."
Yeah.
This is what it's feeling like. It feels like we're in a bubble. There was another post that I'll find off screen here quickly.
I mean, this is like poly markets in a sense, but poly markets amongst friends.
Yeah, and again, I think the fact that there is enough demand for this kind of thing just is an indication that we're not even in like a bubble inside of a specific industry. I think the entire economy is just probably inside of a bubble.
Oh yeah, everybody's gambling. You're talking about gambling and like with the lottery or slot machine economics in social media. Yesterday we touched on that, but this is just like slot machine economics in absolutely everything you can
literally
touch.
Your like bank account.
Yeah, like you're gonna go up and like order a sandwich kind of thing, and like you have the opportunity to just gamble, like double up the sandwich, or like you get no sandwich for lunch.
Yeah, no, there really is something that's baked into. I can't remember what the app was, but it was something where if you like when you went to go buy something, you could get like just a regular amount of cash back, or you could like spin the wheel and then it could like double or triple the amount of cash back that you get, or it like makes you go to zero so that you lose it. It's directly inside of your bank account every time you spend, which is wild. This was also something else that kind of number one brought to mind the we're in a bubble thing, which is Gusto just gave the option to pay my team's payroll in installments. So if you're paying payroll, you can split it over 4 to 8 to 12 installments. This is in combination with what's going on with Klarna, where you can pay for a Taco Bell burrito in 4 installments. I went and did a little bit of research into how that program actually works, how they're profitable. And what Taco Bell does is they pay a fee to Klarna every time that happens, but they do so because they understand that if they pay like 50 cents for that transaction to go through and to be covered by Klarna, there's a higher likelihood that the consumer comes in and buys the burrito. Because they're not paying any interest on it. The company is subsidizing it. But again, like what happens when 100 million Americans default on their burrito, and when employers default on their thing here, and then whatever scheme this is propping up these prediction markets, because like this money that's going into these markets is also being lent out again, right? We're in a bubble. I don't know. I don't know anything about like macroeconomics at the end of the day, but like it just something tells me. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because you actually have like crypto in the market. Like you generally like
try and have an understanding of what's going on in the global markets for sure. I mean, originally when you showed me this, my first my first thought was like, oh, like what are you talking about, like macroeconomics? And then you're talking about like a little app where you're betting $20, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, I see the bubble you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm curious, is the general sentiment with people who are invested in Bitcoin or Ether or anything like that, when if there ever comes a point at where at which there's a run on the banks, right? And people like go and like pull their money out. Is there a general understanding in Bitcoin or crypto communities that that will massively tank the price over there, or are people genuinely thinking like, oh, it's so separate over here, like a run on the banks won't affect anything over
I think for a very long time people have been thinking that it is separate, though we've seen over the past several years, like since around COVID up until now, like that it's not. It's been very directly tied still to how the market's been moving. And then again, right now is a very interesting example, time-wise, that we're in, where we've had gold and silver absolutely flying, and Bitcoin hasn't been doing a whole lot, like comparatively to them in this shorter time window. Obviously, if you look over the past 10 years, 100%, Bitcoin is the highest performing asset that there is, right? So yeah, I think people in this space are well aware that still it is, when you look at the global landscape of what you can get into, it's the top dog. So though we're also aware of, hey, if this bank run happens and like everybody starts freaking out, there's probably a period of time where Bitcoin's price or some of these assets will also tank as the whole market does. But then obviously there's a speculative component where people are hoping that based on the limited supply of Bitcoin, that the funds then, when people realize, hey, there's an infinite amount of money and they keep printing, or like this shady business is happening, how do I store this and protect it and be able to move it internationally? And then that'll be the top asset that they move into, and then price will recover and be at a new highs.
That's interesting. That's kind of the way that I think I've projected things on my end. Again, I'm not in crypto. I just try not to invest in things that I don't like understand. And I understand like how Bitcoin works, how blockchain works. I did a lot of research into it back in 2016, but I knew that I wasn't going to continue to do enough research to understand where the market was going at every given point. And as a result, it wasn't, it's not part of my portfolio. But the thing that I will say here is it seems like the majority of people, let's say retail investors, are likely speculators in one way or another. Like most people aren't like buying in because they really believe in the technology. Right? And as a result of that, when there's, I'd say when, like if there is a bank run or if there's like a real panic in the economy and people start pulling their money out of the stock market, they're going to pull all of the money that they have out of Bitcoin as well. And that'll probably tank the price. But I think at this point, there is a strong enough core component community of like whales and people who genuinely believe in the technology that it's not going to bottom out to zero.
Exactly.
And then from there, it'll build again, but there will be like blood in the streets in that short term kind of thing.
Yeah, there is I mean, it's decentralized enough as far as we're aware that it won't be fully collapsing. It won't be going to zero. Though when you talk about like pulling the money out of the banks and then Bitcoin as well, considering that like they want to pull the money out, it's like where do they put it to? It has to go. If it goes out, it goes somewhere else, right? That's the way these are working. Is like you don't just take the money out and then just store. I mean, it has to be moved into another asset, whether it's gold, whether it's real estate, whether it's bread or tulips, like like in the Netherlands back in the day, like their currency once upon a time. Like it's interesting when you look at how the currencies have evolved over time, and right now we're actually living in one of these moments where it seems that these shifts are taking place.
Sure. Yeah. I guess when I say if there's like a run on the banks or whatever, it's less so the like complete devaluation of like the US dollar that causes the run on the banks and just some sort of like regular economic crisis where people are like, hey, I need the cash on hand. I need the liquidity. Because if the dollar crashes, then like I guess you put it into like Swiss francs or like Singaporean dollars or gold or like or keep it in Bitcoin or whatever.
We see how everything else performs there because people have been talking about for a long time how America sneezes and like the rest of the world catches a cold, right?
Yeah.
So it's
So anyway, here's my 2 cents. If you're thinking of getting into wager, if you're thinking of getting into prediction markets with your friends, probably hold on to your money. I think there are better uses of your funds than to participate in the massive bubble that is building.
The X community loves the gamble, though.
Yes, that is definitely true. They definitely do. Quickly, I want to touch on this story from yesterday. This is a developing story about Claudebot, which was recently renamed to, I can't remember what it was, Moltbot. What a horrible name. My God. He had to do that because Anthropic got mad, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they came after him because Claude, well, I mean, I don't know if they came after him, but they sent him a letter at least saying, hey, yeah, this isn't going to fly. You're going to have to change your name.
Yeah, well, X, please don't send us a similar letter. That's our hope for now.
We hope we get a letter in support.
Yeah, a letter in support. We'll put satire next to our name if we need to.
Yep.
Voss posted today, Anthropic bans their subscription from being used for API credits in Claudebot, then forces a name change to Moltbot so it doesn't sound like Claude. Then Kimi K2.5 drops, which is open source and supposedly better than Opus 4.5 anyways. Couldn't have set themselves up any worse than this. The name Claude was only working in their favor. When I heard that, I assumed it was a harness around only Opus 4.5. The average Claude user is going to default to an open source model now. Certainly one of the business decisions of all time. Now, I don't think any of that sounds great for Anthropic. I think being super stingy around that kind of thing is probably not in your best interest, especially if you're making that much money from your API credits. Like they're making money, However, this next post I thought was interesting here, which was Claudebot and everyone talking about it, made me realize that nothing interesting about me lives on my local device and that Google owns everything about me. In other words, a local AI assistant isn't particularly useful and Google will just win everything. This seems to be the reality of the situation when it comes to running things local versus running things in the big tech cloud. Even the guy that we were talking to yesterday, he's setting up his AI tracking to be decentralized, but he's doing that for the purpose of user security, not having to share their data with big tech companies. He's working specifically with a company who specializes around that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think to the general consumer, nobody cares.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I don't think everyone is considering or like really thinking about Google taking over everything, or that maybe there'll be a group of people who do consider that. I've honestly recently had a few experiences that made me come to that conclusion myself of, oh, okay, I thought there were some other models that were very interesting, and it's like a little bit more of a competitive market, and it currently is, or it's showcasing that way. But I've seen some things that I'm like, oh man, Google is going to just like eat everyone. They're doing something right now that like on my own experience, like I've did some things where I'm building out a project inside of a different LLM, let's say Grok or ChatGPT. And then I'm building out this project, and I've done nothing to speak about it. Like I haven't spoken about it out loud. It's literally just been in my own head, and then actually interacting with the other alternative LLM. And then I've gone and opened up a new chat in Gemini and gone to open up a conversation about like starting out with that idea, or like to work on that idea, but I've like given no feedback or no inputs there. And then the information that it's had already knew my idea and my model and the name and like other context that I'm like, there's like, I'm sure I didn't have any like data leakage or in between. And I don't know where or how they've got that information, but they already know it. Right. Which for me, it was like, oh, okay, Google is like literally, there's so much deeper in things than we really comprehend.
Yeah. I think when it comes to their business model for the last like 15 years or whatever, it's just all ads, and all ads are predicting your next move before you even know what it is.
Yeah.
If they weren't able to do that, they wouldn't be profitable. And not only are they profitable, they're one of the largest companies on earth, right? So I think the amount of data points that they have can probably predict like what you'll go over to Claude, or what you'll go over to Grok, or what you'll go over to ChatGPT and start talking about, so that when you come back, it's like, we've been kind of waiting for you here. Yeah. Let's get to it. And
it's like the humans finally catching up.
Like yeah,
they're ahead of us in our own mind, already have our life path mapped out.
Yeah, exactly.
Google knows our destiny.
And again, I think the general trade-off that people are more than happy to make is if they can hop over to Gemini and have that sort of pleasant experience where it doesn't feel like they're being sold anything. It's genuinely a helpful technology, and that genuinely helpful technology is connected to your Google search, to your YouTube, to all the music that you might listen to through Google Play, all of your Google Play apps, Gmail. All of these different things are being used as a data source to make this thing as smart as possible.
Yeah.
Even your Google Maps, like where you're going. I think people have stopped caring about privacy probably back in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And as long as they have a really just great experience with your product, they're like, okay, yeah, just watch and know everything about me, and know more about me than I know about myself in terms of like what I'm going to do over the next like 2 or 3 days. That's more than fine with me.
It seems that way. Yeah. I think we're definitely at that point right now.
Yeah. But on a more practical level, again, Anthropic closing down what it is that they're doing.
Was it a good play for them or not?
Yeah, we'll see. Feels a little bit closed-minded on their end, but I do get that they're trying to they're trying to be the Apple in the space where everything is kind of closed. Everything's very premium feeling, even the way that they approach their branding. It seems to be the case that they're going. And there's as the internet does, everyone is now moving in the direction of like Claudebot feels obsolete after only 3 days. X moves fast. Welcome Twin, I guess. And there's this introduction to Twin, the AI company builder, no setup, secure, infinitely scalable. So it addresses the two objections, for example, that I would have of getting into Claudebot or Moltbot or whatever we're calling it now.
In vibe coding of any sort, in a sense.
Yeah. So this is supposedly something that takes care of that. But
yeah, it's like I just saw this because you just showed me like right before we jumped on here, and like scroll down a little bit. I don't know if they have anything particular there, but this is like, yeah.
To this,
you can use any app. Down a little further. Yeah, I don't remember what the piece was I wanted to talk about here, but this, like, exactly as an example here, like this is what the original post was, or a guy commenting on it was talking about how fast the space is moving. It's honestly like a 3-day period feels like 3 years of advancements are compressed into that 3 days. Like we're really at a point right now where like the technology or what we have access to and like the new products coming out are moving so fast that like to try and keep up is like more than a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. I think the most practical view of everything that's happened with Claudebot over the last couple of days, I can't find the post right now, but someone came on and said, here's my prediction for Claudebot. Like we all forget about Claudebot within like 3 weeks. We move on to something else, but then in about 6 months, when real use cases for it start to really like populate and people have been like pushing the tool and playing around with the tool and really understand what it can and can't do, then it's going to start popping back up in people's feeds of being like, yo, like, this is what it actually can do. It's like kind of past like
you didn't build an 8-figure business using Claudebot. What?
Yeah, exactly. Or automate the majority of, of a person's life. So, yeah, pretty interesting times that
it is interesting. Like the Kimmy, like is talking about, like as an example, again, like this is like, I wake up this morning and I see something new in that example where people are like saying, oh, this is better than this is a superior model to Claude in some of this aspect, and it's open source, so you can just grab it and plug it into Claudebot and like you're off to the races.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So from here, the one last thing that I do want to touch on when it comes to what we're going to be talking about in just a second is this post right here by Tanay Kotari, and I always feel bad because I feel like I'm messing that name up, but he's the CEO at Whisperflow, which we were thinking about actually getting yesterday for our own purposes. Yep. So big company, doing pretty well. His post I thought was pretty interesting. We just built the largest UGC program ever. We hit 500 million views in 60 days, and it was all built by a 19-year-old kid. In July, I saw Cluely hit 300 million views in 90 days with UGC. So I hired a 19-year-old student who'd been making content for 3 months to build out our UGC program. 2 months later, he built the most successful UGC program in our space, 500 million views. That's roughly 10% of people online seeing content about Whisperflow. Here's the playbook that he used. Number 1, give creators real autonomy or they'll leave. Most companies kill UGC programs by micromanaging everything. We gave creators full creative freedom for half their content. Make whatever viral videos you want about Whisper, your account, your voice. And then number 2, build a viral replication system. We have 70 creators making content daily. We monitor everything in real time. The moment we see a video hitting 1 million views in that first day, we extract that, everything that's working about it, and we send it to every creator. That way, all the creators are working on these million view videos. From there, we get extremely specific with your hooks. Most companies fail at UGC because they give vague guidance. We built a library of specific tactical hooks, not concepts, actual frameworks they can use. Number 4, be ruthlessly selective. When we launched the program, 1,000 creators applied. We picked 60. Quality over quantity matters more than people think. One great creator who actually understands your product is worth 10 mediocre ones who are just chasing a check. You're not building a contractor list. You're building a community. A 19-year-old beat companies spending millions on UGC. The difference wasn't budget. It was letting creators actually create. So I thought this was super, super fascinating. And it's the perfect segue into talking to our guest here today. Brother, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. Great to be here. I'm doing great.
Awesome. You're based on West Coast, correct?
Yes, we're in San Francisco, Valley Patch.
Okay, fabulous. Well, we just got through reading a post about what Whisperflow is doing in the realm of UGC. Your big focus with what you're working on with your app is in the realm of UGC, correct?
Yes, absolutely. There's the UGC app, the way to make money online for most young bucks.
Hell yeah, love it. Well, I'm curious, how did you come up with the concept in the first place? I've heard a number of players in the space wanting to sort of centralize UGC attention and being able to find like labor and that kind of thing. I think Ali Abdaal even has some sort of like creator community that he does with that, but you've gone in a bit of a different direction by using the swipe back and forth with Tinder. What was sort of the beginning of the ideation process there?
Yes, I guess at Cluely, we ran with my co-founder. We started the UGC program. In 1 month, we were at like 100 million views, sub $1 CPM, and we realized that at the time we were using a bunch of different tools to run UGC programs. Like we were in Google Forms, we were in Discord, we were having to send bank wires to some people or sending PayPal invoices. It was just pretty, I guess, inefficient. And then like me and my co-founder have been content creators for many years, and even with hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views, maybe as you know, it's like still pretty difficult to generate a consistent income from content alone. So we created an app that made it super simple to not only apply and get opportunities from the best companies in the world, because they have lots of money and they desperately need distribution. And on the company side, they're really looking for any sort of online growth, or they're looking for aura. And a lot of the times, like we've been able, or for all of our clients, we've gotten sub $1 CPM. I think average is 70 cents, around 1 billion views, and 2 to 4 times higher converting than any other source of paid acquisition. So yes, that's kind of the ideation process was like a bit of inefficiency in running like the UGC programs. And then also on the creator side, where everyone kind of wants to make money, not just content creators, but even people who have like no experience with content can just pick up a phone, record a 30-second video and make $2,000. So yes, it's a method.
Yeah, very cool. Is that sort of the main thing that I shouldn't say the main thing, but one of the main things that you picked up at Cluely was just kind of going through and seeing how inefficient it was to manage campaigns like this on so many different platforms, and being like, we need like a centralized platform to put it all together to make things simple?
Definitely. Yeah, I think a lot of great ideas come from looking at the world or your problems and thinking that they're inefficient and there's always a better solution. But also with UGC and content specifically, a lot of it is iteration speed. And are you able, like, let's say there's a new format that got 1 million views for another company. Are you able to send that to 20 or 100 of your creators overnight and have them posting the next morning? And like if we're running it through iMessage, we would have to send it in a group chat, like send the example video. We would have to create a transcript, even message individual creators asking why are you not posting? What kind of content is this? Like with video review, it's pretty like I said, inefficient. So yes, like the main goal with the platform is efficiency.
Got it. And I imagine with a platform like this, you're running into a situation where at the end of the day, you need operational buy-in to use the product from both the side of the marketer as well as the UGC creators, right? Getting them both to kind of hop onto app and do
Yes.
that. I'm curious how you're approaching marketing. Is it two different approaches to marketing? Are they completely separate? Or are you just doing like one big campaign? How are you doing it?
Yes, fortunately, all of the companies that have wanted to work with us or we've decided to work with have been like fully inbound. They've seen us at Cluely, or even like our newer cohort of clients come from previous companies we worked with. So these guys are sick. They get us results. You should check them out. And then we work with them. And it kind of grows through that network. And then on the creator side, we've kind of been dog feeding our own product, where we run UGC programs for methods on the app, and that is like our main source or our largest source of acquisition. And aside from that, it's kind of like referrals. We have a pretty great referral program, and it's very prominent within the app. So lots of users, they obviously want to make more money. They hop onto the referral, tell all their friends about methods, and then grow that way as well. But like the main thing that I think the biggest value add for most companies is that we kind of handle all of the user or creator acquisition for them and then funnel them to other companies' programs as well as our own, versus having to do like manual outreach to like creators with 200 followers or 10,000 followers who likely will not respond to you. Yeah, it's like very difficult for like UGC is kind of a black box. And if you are a company who has no idea about anything socials, you don't really know where to start. And even like sourcing creators, which is slightly menial, can seem very difficult.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So is that one of, I guess, the affiliate side of things there, or is there something else that would stand out to you for the growth that you've seen thus far with your app as being like the lever, I guess, that you've pulled to get the most outsized returns?
The main thing is like if there is a format that is going viral for one creator, you have to be able to push that out to as many creators as possible while it's still viral. Like an early realization was that content is not just scalable in the way where you post a video once, it can be seen by a billion other people without you having to do anything. But if a video can go viral once for one creator, for one company in a niche, it can go viral for hundreds or thousands of other creators. And you really want to capitalize on taking that format and expanding it as much as possible. Like for most programs, there's no need to reinvent the wheel or find new formats when there are already like proven formats to go viral. And that's like another thing companies get wrong about UGC. They're always looking for, oh, how do we innovate? How do we make better content? But honestly, if there is a video that is doing well, just steal it. You know, that's the method. Just steal content.
Yeah, cool. Love it. That's definitely how I built my previous brand. It's just essentially that. I'm curious when it comes to like if I was a marketer and I was paying wanting to pay my creators through your platform and source talent through your platform, would I be able to see what other competitors or what other marketers in my space are paying their creators? Like, does that get like do I get data to be like, okay, like other people are paying like 80, 70 cent CPMs, or do you just kind of go in and you're like, okay, we're going to see what works for my own thing?
Yeah, most companies like have the option to set their own payout tiers. What has worked best for us in terms of creator motivation and also scale is like at 1,000 or 10,000 views, you have like a $30 somewhat like base rate. At 1 million views, $1,000, and 5 million views, $2,000. And this is like the standard for most of our programs. Because like creators, obviously, like even the most random people will likely not work for free. So you need some sort of like initial incentive. And for lots of companies, content is slightly an investment where you have like a video that is basically selling your product without you having to do anything else. And anything past 5 million views, you don't really pay for. So you get the most returns off of like the slightly higher CPMs at the lower tiers if you have very viral videos. Yeah, like we have gotten like for some posts like sub 2 cent CPM. I think we have one of the most, if not the most viewed UGC video for this company called Descartes we worked with. Yeah, I think it has like 57 million something views. Yeah, pretty sick.
And you said sub 2 cent?
Yes, I believe it's, yes, I can't remember.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think we paid like 2,000 something for this guy to make a post, and it got, yeah, like 57 million views. I'm not the best at math, so it might be slightly higher or lower.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Neither am I. Don't worry. I won't hold you to that expectation. Perfect. That I'm nowhere near being able to do myself. Yeah. With the type of companies that, and this, I guess this is a more general question when it comes to UGC. I don't know if you remember Nick Shevchenko making a post a couple of months ago where he was like, "Oh, UGC doesn't work," like, and a lot of people kind of hopped on that train. And I think the most compelling response to his post was probably something in the realm of, if the ask is to hop onto a website and buy a piece of consumer hardware, it's a lot of hoops for someone to jump through in order for the campaign to properly convert. My question is when it comes to the people that are seeing the most success on your platform, and maybe industry wide, because it seems like you kind of have your tentacles in a couple of different pies, are the companies doing the best in the realm of like software, in the realm of supplements, in the realm of like sort of like TikTok shop-esque type of things, or like what companies don't do well, I guess, when it comes to UGC content that you've been seeing?
It's really about lowering or having the least friction between watching a TikTok video or Instagram reel and buying a product or downloading an app. And consumer hardware is like slightly higher friction versus some consumer AI app. You go on the App Store, you click a link, and you download and pay $20 a month for. Yeah, like what has worked best for us primarily is like fully consumer, maybe AI apps or things that like make you money. Because like most people on TikTok or like generally just want to make money. And if you can find like some sort of use case or angle for your product where you can actually benefit people by making them more money or having like an additional source of income, those do pretty well. Like we've worked with a few like vibe coding like apps and platforms, and the angle that gets the most views and has like the highest conversion is like where you can make like an app, like vibe code an app and make like $2,000 your first month or $5,000 your first week, just selling like a simple like app that took you 5 minutes to to make. Because from like the person's perspective, if they're trying to buy a plan for $200 a month, there has to be some return on it where it is worth at least $200 or more. And if you can make an app, like you watch a video, this guy makes an app in one day, and after a week, it's making like $2,000. Why would you not take the $200 investment? Like it's basically 2 clicks, and you could be making, I don't know, $1,800 profits. But yeah, like it's definitely not the same as like watching a video and buying a house, which is like extremely large friction. And like for that to work, you would need like very converting content. Whereas what we optimize more for generally, and what is like easier for us to measure, is like impressions and CPM. Can we get the lowest CPM possible and the most views? And like we want to appeal to a very large audience where there will at least be a few people where like the conversion rates are generally lower, but like since we have such a large viewership, there are going to be a few people, if not a lot of people, who will convert and buy the product.
Love it.
Nice.
I'm curious with something that I have run into myself when I was doing clipping for my previous brand is the issue of botting. I imagine the botting is less of an issue in the direction of UGC content, but I'm sure it's still existent. How does a platform like yours or the marketers on the platform, how do they plan for that? How do they make sure that they're getting the types of views that they want to be getting?
Yeah, I think the issue with other platforms is that they are not necessarily incentivized to detect bot views, because either way, the creator's getting paid. That's money that's flowing through their platform. And on their side, like for the company, it looks like, oh, my program's doing well. It just got 1 million views, but they don't know that 90% of that is botted. I think like we have paid like $0 to people who bought views. We have like a very good system of detecting that. We track like social engagement every 15 minutes, and it's surprisingly incredibly easy to detect bot views if you know it to look fair. Like you have 1 million views and 2,000 likes, that makes no sense. Or you have like 6 comments that have no likes that are all saying similar things. We are able to tell very clearly if a video or multiple videos are botted. And like honestly, like this might be racist, but most of them are just Indian accounts. Like Indians.
I was literally just about to say that.
It's yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like a lot of our I don't think there's a single creator on a platform in the US that has botted views, but like I think if not 100% are all just from India. So that's a very strong signal.
Yeah, that's a very interesting metric. One question, because you're talking about content-wise for the actual creators, you want to focus on virality, right? Just copy that if somebody has something that's good. Is there anything that you or your partner are seeing out in the marketplace right now as far as shifts go that you're looking to front run or you're trying to set yourself up for?
Yeah, I think AI generated content is super interesting. Like you're seeing like a bunch of AI generated influencers get millions of views, and half of the comments are like, yo, this is obviously AI. And the other half are trying to like decipher whether this is AI or not. And usually they lean towards it's not AI. We're like still very early, but I think AI is starting to get good enough where it is going to become indistinguishable from like a real human, to the point where, I don't know, a few years from now, we will likely not even need human influencers, and it will just be massive content and phone farms run by companies to try and sell you the best product. Like I think the main constant with advertising and marketing is that marketing is always evolving, and what has worked now or what has worked historically will likely not work in the future. So we're really trying to make a push in the future and with future app updates to kind of not necessarily incentivize, but provide tools that make it easier for users to generate content at scale, whether that be pure like AI avatars or AI editing. I think there's just like so much potential, and it's very incredibly niche, believe it or not.
Do you think like in terms of long-term scalability on your end, is there any worry about a lot of marketing going in-house because the companies are able to move so far in the direction of creating their own AI content rather than having to pay, the girl in the messy bedroom in California, like a base rate of like $30 per video, or pay, the Indian guy who's botting views and then like threatens to kill your family when you don't like actually pay him or whatever. Like these are all situations I've kind of run into with that. Is this something that you're thinking of over the course of like the next 5 years as UGC potentially moves more in the direction of internal AI influencers?
Not even 5 years, honestly. I think like likely within the next year, we're going to see most of the content being made online has been like fully AI generated. And on the creator side, we want to provide tools for them to create better content and use AI. And on the company side, we're doing the same thing where like at right, like currently you still need some form of distribution, like through actual creator accounts. So there is still some need for the creator. But going forward,
good point, yeah.
like making a push for like fully AI generated content across all our platforms. And we would like to be the interface for every company to generate AI ads at scale versus, I don't know what other people are using. But I think the main advantage with us starting this and even like going forward with AI is me and my co-founder have both been content creators for many years. We've scaled UGC programs to hundreds of millions of views. Like we understand content very well. We understand distribution very well. I like to think that we're the best at distribution in the world. And other companies can like just not say that. Like I can't name another agency or company or even like internally who has been able to scale as many UGC programs to the viewership that we've gotten in just like a few months. So yes, we want to kind of be the interface for companies and even creators to make AI generated content.
Very cool. Yeah, your point about the need for distribution is a good point. I hadn't thought that element through. I think one of the things that's probably worth saying there is it's probably a while out until established brands are willing to potentially take the same amount of heat as something like Doublespeed. I don't know if you're familiar with Doublespeed, where they're willing to kind of build out entire teams inside of their companies that sort of technically break terms of service, but like they're just trying to do it without like getting caught, essentially. So your point about distribution moving into the future and the need for creators, if for no other reason, just to post, is a good point.
Yes, but I think like a lot of the things that like even broader than content, just generally. I'm very bullish on AI and super intelligence. I think within the next 2 to 3 years, like if you are not already extremely successful or part of the top 1,000 or 10,000 people who have control all of the wealth or influence or power, you'll essentially be like sent into slavery. Like I think it's very concerning that no one is talking about like I think I might be paused or my Wi-Fi might have died. But yeah, like I genuinely think that slavery is coming and AI will likely take away or overperform humans in every sort of like psychological or like mental task. And at that point, you have to wonder, what will humans be actually doing? And I like to be kind of optimistic about it in thinking that I think I might be lagging. I'm not entirely sure.
A little bit, but we got you back. We're good.
Okay. Yes, I don't know where I left off at. But yeah, I was saying that I think AI, or like if you're very bullish on super intelligence, like a lot of the things done by humans today that are like not like very like intelligence-based tasks will be completely overtaken by artificial intelligence to the point of where we have to question, what will humans be even doing? Like, do we need humans to, I don't know, be working at McDonald's or posting content on social media, where an AI, like an actual like super intelligence can be doing it at the like millions of times the scale that any human or group of humans could be doing today. So yeah, like I would like to save humanity in a way on methods by giving everyone a chance to make money and maybe even become so successful they can be part of the top 1% of people in technology. And then, I don't know, they will be saved from the permanent slave underclass. I don't know. We'll see.
I love that.
Yeah,
saving humanity.
Yeah, I think there seems to be a general drive inside of I don't want to say money Twitter is like a vibe, but like WAP is making moves going into business schools, making presentations, because I think there's this general understanding that when you graduate from school, you're probably going to be doing something, at the very least, working inside of a corporate structure that supports one of these online economies, right? And WAP is going and being like, hey, let's educate people on what it is that our platform actually does, to give them an idea of how they can potentially make money online using our platform, just because that's where the public consciousness is. Because over the last like 5 years, kind of since COVID, everyone has consumed content where it's like, hey, like you could make money online this way, and everyone aspires to do that rather than to be, working at a company that's probably going to be, automated within the next like year and a half anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think like this generation of young people is realizing that education might not be the best path, or what was historically safe, like getting a job or going into 200K and like college debt and then working for the rest of your life is probably not the best career path for most ambitious people. And we're seeing this today already. Like 20 million people in college and high school are starting their own businesses. And I think like also historically, Gen Z has been underlooked by venture and banks, and pretty much every person does not take Gen Z seriously financially. They're viewed as like kind of the riskiest sort of I don't know, asset group. But what we're seeing, even on our platform, there are kids on our app that have like 1,000 followers on Instagram. They're making $10,000, $40,000 a month just posting short videos. And then they come to me. They're asking, how do I start a business legally? How do I run payroll? How do I do my taxes? How can I scale the company? How can I make a website? And like I started to realize that there's not really any good infrastructure for the average person who is like completely disregarding the traditional education and job system to start their own business. And I think with Methods, like I said, the goal is to save as many people as possible and kind of let them escape from the matrix. But we want to provide more tools to help them not just make better content, but to grow their business. Because I bet we're making is that in the next 10 to 20 years, more value will be created by solopreneurs and kids who are making money online versus the traditional legacy companies and all of the Fortune 500. Like AI is enabling the average person to make businesses that are worth millions or tens of millions of dollars a year from practically nothing, no educational connections. And like going forward, this is definitely like what we're going to see more of. I think less people will be going to college, less people will be getting jobs, and the jobs that will be left will mostly be automated unless you have like the very jobs at the top, whether you're like a C-suite executive or you're practically irreplaceable. But yeah, like now it's like incredibly hard to find an entry-level job for most people. Like software engineering, I believe like junior level jobs have gone down by 20% since ChatGPT has released. And we're going to start seeing this in other industries that are not just software or like programming related. We're going to see this in marketing. We're going to see this in finance. Like pretty much every job that a university student aspires of getting right after college is going to be gone in the next probably 1 to 2 years, maybe even sooner. Yeah, like I think everyone will start becoming their own business owner and realizing that the best way to make money is online, maybe through Methods. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm taking that bet with you. It's the founders, the creators, the owners, people who have ownership over everything, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's where people need to play.
Yeah. I'm curious, inside of your just general group of professional colleagues and friends, what are some meta trends that you are noticing in terms of how people are trying to develop AI products, whether that's in the B2B space or the B2C space? Like what are some meta trends that you're seeing just inside of your social group?
Yeah, like with AI, like the iteration speed for development has like lowered significantly, where a product that used to take a team of 10 in 6 weeks to create now takes like one guy in an afternoon in Claude Code. And like I believe like even like next 1 to 2 years, again, like products will be so commoditized. Infrastructure will be commoditized, and anything you can think of can be built pretty much instantly, where the only thing that will matter is the experience or the interface, or when people think about your product or what you're creating, how do they feel? And like 99% of companies in vibe coded slop do not understand that the product does not necessarily matter. And I think it is becoming more and more about the experience, the attachment, and how something makes you feel. And lots of people in SF and B2B and startups generally are kind of opposed to this and still have a somewhat traditional mindset, thinking I should go product first. I should build this product, and then people will come and use my product, and it will grow naturally because everyone, I don't know, loves how it works. But like this is just not the case anymore, and I think this is like very like old-fashioned style of thinking. Marketing and distribution is becoming more important than ever, and as AI accelerates and as we progress, it will become the most important thing versus any product you can create. And I hope everyone listening to this understands your product does absolutely not matter. You can make actually anything and you could sell it online. You have to be thinking, what is the best thing I can be selling, and how do I make people feel a certain way about my product? Yes, always experience first, not product.
How do you want people to feel when they're using Methods?
When they're using Methods, I want them to feel like a sense of emancipation. Like, why have I been working a job? Why have I been going to school for 4 years when I can just be making money from my phone and make $2,000, my first video? Like, I think like time is very valuable, and you should not be spending time like doing something that you cannot see yourself doing for the next 10 to 20 years. Like people say that I think the biggest lie told to young people today is that you will always have more time. You don't. And you only know how much time you have until it is too late. So start making money online, start hustling, start making money in any way possible. And hopefully on Methods, because it is the new way to make money online.
Hell yeah, man. Well, to maybe close off the conversation, like I said yesterday in my message to you,
yes,
who are 3 people online who you think are doing great work and deserve more attention online than they're currently getting?
Yes, I think one of them is my friend Daniel from TypeOS. He's building a very cool product in AI and also very bullish on distribution. Another one, Arlon from Nozomio. Both of these guys, high school dropouts. He's also working on a pretty sick product. Let me think of, I think I have a third one in my Twitter. Oh yes, Abdullah from Interview Coder. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's recently been made, or actually a few months, he's been CEO of Interview Coder, and it's still doing extremely well. But love all of them. Yes, and you should check all of them out. Use their product.
Fabulous. I'll put their information in the show notes after. I'll text you for them. And then finally, where can people find you online?
They can find me on Twitter at Elamri, E-L-A-M-R-I, or on Methods, methods.app. It's the new way to make money online, and you can make up to $2,000 your first video. We pay $40 your first video, by the way, not even any views.
So hell yeah, dude. That's a bonus.
There
Love
you
it.
go. Yeah,
Cool,
it's
man.
a method.
All right. Excellent. Well, Driss, thanks so much for hopping on, man. This was actually genuinely fascinating. You're a fascinating character, especially for such a young guy. So like you're killing it over there. We'd love to have you back and talk about some additional developments inside of the space when we get the chance to.
Yes, anytime. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. Talk soon.
All right. Okay. Have a good night, man.
Take care, man.
You too.
All right. Fascinating. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Again, the marketing is very much just like my bread and butter. It's where I like to spend a lot of my time in terms of like what I'm interested in. So I'm always just interested in seeing what the meta is.
The young guys are hungry. I freaking love it.
Yeah, you know, the biggest takeaway was, strangely enough, and this is I'm gonna say this at the risk of it being a cliche. I thought one of the biggest takeaways is just like, how do people feel when they use your product?
Mm-hmm.
It's really simple, but I think I'm such an operations guy, so focused on operations and usability, that I think about like what value does it provide rather than like how does it make you feel.
Neglecting the experience a little bit.
Yeah, and I think this is maybe too much to share, but I think when you kind of grow up in a situation where, you know, maybe the home structure that you grow up with doesn't really put you in a place where it's like, let's talk about our feelings or whatever. You are kind of focused on like providing value. You're focused on sort of like the more logical side of things.
Yeah.
And it like there's something called process communication model that I read about a couple of years ago, where it said that 60% of the population identifies and can connect with a character like Iron Man, someone who's like kind of big and like just kind of says like whatever he wants, whatever. But then 40% or like 20, 30, something around there, percent of the population connect with feel-based characters. And then 30% of the population connect with funny characters. And this is a reason why something like Marvel or something like Pixar scripts different characters in the way that they do, because they understand that they need to have like 4 or 5 characters in the movie where each person watching can connect with the character that communicates to them with their communication model of choice.
Wow.
So the thing that is that I'm kind of reminded of here is that it's you can apply that exact same approach to business and to the company that you're creating. And it's not just characters inside of Pixar movies. You can really, as long as you're genuinely offering value on the back end and like your product is useful, like we just saw with Methods. This is actually something that I've even had conversations with people here in Indonesia, just like whoever fixes this first is going to make a lot of money. I think they're doing a great job of doing this. But the way that you market it can be in the direction of this Pixar, Marvel, PCM approach.
Yeah, tapping into the certain experiences.
Yeah, experience over usability
and outcome. So it's experience and outcome. Right?
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
He's delivering the outcome for both the creators coming on trying to get paid, and then the actual businesses who are needing the campaigns. Right?
And I think Driss is also a really good demonstration of how valuable it is to have like a strong network inside of what you do. Because again, him working at Cluely for a couple of months was really the center of the universe in terms of VC funded companies, just because Roy Lee, the guy who started Cluely, started it out with a lot of like controversy because he was using his app to essentially cheat on employment tests. I think for Amazon, I could be messing this part of the story up, but he was using his
interface, the app,
his interface to basically hop on these interviews and sort of cheat live in real time. And as a result of this, the industry has started asking questions like, hey, can you answer this question with your eyes closed in order to make sure that people aren't reading screens? Or can you share your screen so that I can see what it is that's what else you're looking at? So again, it made a lot of changes here. But again, this was very much the center of the universe. And I think one of the things that I was really interested in is it kind of freaks me out, the idea of developing a product myself that requires operational buy-in from two different parties, where you need the marketers and then you need the UGC creators. To me, I would rather, just for purposes of ease, to create a product that requires operational buy-in from one person who just uses the product, rather than having it be sort of like something that requires a network effect from two very different parties.
I wonder if it's easier though to have that. As much as you might think it's easier to like, bring the product to the one.
Why would you say it's easier?
The one client? Because they fill each other's needs. Again, it's like the same thing of like you're creating value in a sense of by having that network, right? Having that connection point, right? Rather than you needing to go bring a product to somebody, if you can just bring the right people into the same room and then allow what naturally would happen to come about, right? That can be the higher value add.
That's a good point. I guess a question I should have asked him is whether or not the marketers tend to bring their own marketers to the platform, or if the platform is responsible for attracting like a bunch of UGC creators, and then the bunch of UGC creators can just kind of hop onto whatever campaigns they do. It's probably a combination of both. I'm sure if a company finds enough value with methods, they think to themselves, okay, let's just move everything over here because it just centralizes everything. Again, UGC creator campaigns have been a complete disaster to run for the last couple of years, just because it requires like Google Sheets over here, Notion over here, paying some people through PayPal, paying some people through Wise, paying some people through Venmo or whatever. It's a disaster. And I think if it centralizes things enough, these companies might say, okay, our existing database of like 1,000 creators, we're going to move over to this platform, which kind of creates that network effect. That could be a point. That's actually something I should have asked him, thinking about it. But again, fascinating conversation.
Yeah, very interesting.
Had a really good vibe with that one, and I thought his general thoughts in terms of where the labor market is going, where AI is going as well. Again,
he gets it.
He's just in the right community to be able to make those types of assertions as well. It is kind of sort of the center of the world in terms of where everyone's thinking currently is. The next thing that I think is worth going into is this post right here.
So you got the AI roadmap from Machina or Machina.
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina. I always want to say Machina too.
I know when you say like look at it like that.
Machina. Show me your Machina. Okay, so the reason I thought this would be interesting to go through is because I think very similarly, well, actually, I won't get into that. Very similarly to, I think a lot of business owners, is you kind of have your agency, you're automating the things that you can automate and that require your attention now because it's a real driver inside of your business. But there is a general fear that as a result of hyper-focusing on the operations inside of your business that you're trying to automate, that you're kind of missing out on a larger vibe of what's happening inside of AI, different ways to kind of take advantage of the technology. And I thought it might be useful to go through this particular post. Again, we referenced this guy, and we've already referenced him here on the show today, Voss. This is one of the main thinkers in the realm of AI, and Machina is also one of the main thinkers in the realm of AI, putting together good resources to do what it is that he's saying here, how to master AI in 30 days, the exact roadmap. So I thought we would go through this and read the entirety of the article as long as it's not too crazy long. Holy shit.
Wow. What did you
What
did you
what have I done?
Line up here?
Okay. Why don't we hit the beginning of it, if for no other reason? Then
let's just open it up.
Yeah, and I think something else that we generally try to aim for here on the show is to be able to figure out whether or not a post that we see is overhyped. So, for example, AI roadmap from Machina, one of the best in the game. Let's read the first couple of paragraphs, see if this lives up to that reputation. So,
all right, how to master AI in 30 days, the exact roadmap. So, yeah, we're not going to go through the entire thing, but go check it out afterwards. But I think we might get some cool insights here. So, a year from now, 2 versions of you exists. Both of them are gay.
Both of them are gay.
2 versions of you exist, right? One is mass applying to jobs with a generic resume, watching AI eat their industry, wondering when they'll find time to learn this stuff. And the other is billing $200 an hour for AI implementation, building tools that didn't exist 6 months ago, turning down clients because demand exceeds capacity. Same starting point, different trajectory, and the split happens in the next 30 days. So this is the curriculum that creates version 2, which is where you want to be. He calls it the operator toolkit.
So really quick before we go on, something that I've already noticed is at the end of the day, this article is targeted towards people who are potentially already working those jobs, those generic jobs.
Still employees currently.
Yeah.
Because even Pathway 2 is still the hourly, $200 an hour type
Exactly. So I would say this is already going to be targeted towards that audience. But if we hop forward and see if there's like some value that we can find as business owners, let's see what kind of goes on. Because again, like there are a couple of AI programs that I've thought about getting into. It's just I'm too busy. I'm like too focused on this project or like whatever. So I try to skim through this stuff to see if there's something interesting. So the mental model you need to adopt. Most AI education starts wrong. They teach prompt tricks before you understand why prompts work. So you're copying templates instead of adapting to situations. Here's the foundation that makes everything else click. And once you have it, you'll never look at it the same way.
Fundamentals.
Everything
you need the fundies.
How AI actually reads your words when you type it. The bank was steep. The model has a decision to make. Are you talking about money or a riverbank? The attention mechanism solves this by weighing which surrounding words matter most. It constantly asks what context helps me understand this word, and that simple insight explains 80% of why some prompts work and others fail. So we'll keep going. So a way to fix this is to take control of the parameters that matter most. Temperature controls, randomness on a 0 to 1 scale. At 0, the model gives you its most confident answer every time. At 1, it takes creative risk. Set it low for factual queries and analysis. Push it higher when you want the unexpected ideas. This single parameter separates frustrating AI sessions from productive ones. So this is something that I have not actually played around with too much as of yet.
Send it to 5 and you get hallucinations.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've done exactly this when it comes to AI picture generation, for example, being like, okay, let's push this specific parameter a little bit farther, but then like outcome, like if I'm putting a picture in of me, out comes like a guy who just looks like straight up Mexican, which I'm half Guatemalan. I'm not full Hispanic. Okay. I find that offensive. So
that's why you get offended by Tate.
Exactly.
Like everyone in South America, you're Mexican.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Tate, there are delineations between the countries. Okay. But with a chat, I've never actually gone through and taken control of temperature controls. Interesting, something that,
I think on most models, it's not the easiest to access. I don't know if they have access to that unless you're setting it up yourself. I've seen in Gemini, in one of like their actual AI studio, that there you can do it. I don't know if I've actually noticed it or found it inside of ChatGPT or Grok.
While I'm reading this, would you mind hopping into Gemini and seeing if this is something that you can do? Even just like hopping in and asking Gemini, how do I turn the temperature up and down or whatever?
Yeah. I'll ask him Grok actually to see if that's possible here.
Cool. The next section, why AI lies to you and how to catch it. Here's something counterintuitive. AI doesn't know what's true. It predicts what text is likely to come next based on patterns. And confident sounding text patterns exist for both facts and fiction. So the model produces both with equal confidence. Studies show nearly half of all AI-generated citations are partially or completely fabricated. The model invents author names, journal titles, even URLs that don't exist. This is something that's happening a lot in case law. A lot of lawyers are actually getting disbarred because they're coming to their depositions citing case law that doesn't exist. And it's very clear that they just use ChatGPT, and judges are obviously getting very, very angry about this.
Yeah, we're already starting it like on a large scale. Humans starting to take the lazy way out. We've always been lazy creatures and always wanted to find the easier path. But now that we have a brain that can think for us, we're starting to just trust whatever it's saying, even if we haven't fact checked some things ourselves.
For sure. I mean, this is one of the reasons why that AI psychosis court case is being directed at OpenAI. People are suing them because ChatGPT is like convincing people to unalive themselves because they're like some sort of, they have insider knowledge to how the universe actually exists or whatever. But anyway, moving forward, when it comes to hallucinations, the fix here isn't hoping that they'll patch this. Hallucination is structural, not a bug. Instead, verify specific claims, use low temperature for factual queries, ask the model to acknowledge uncertainty, and build RAG systems that ground response in real documents. The RAG approach is so effective, it gets its own section later, but here's the preview. You can make AI reference your actual documents instead of its training data, which eliminates hallucination for domain-specific questions. When I was developing a SaaS product last year, part of the way that I wanted to make it smarter and smarter and smarter each time, because it was a SaaS for scripting short form videos.
Yep.
And I wanted there to be like a centralized brain where every one of the completed scripts that a user was to look at and be like, okay, yeah, this sounds like me. I like it. I'm going to move forward with this. What they could do is press a button and then it goes to their AI brain, which was essentially a RAG, where moving forward, the SaaS program could reference all of the writing styles.
Yep.
And as the library got larger and larger and larger, it became more and more and more like you, not because it was trying to correctly predict what your next word was based on its API training data, but based on the actual stuff that you yourself said, okay, this sounds like me. So from here, how to pick AI models. The best model changes based on what you're doing. Using the wrong one for your task is like using a screwdriver as a hammer. Technically possible, frustrating, suboptimal. Something I've noticed over the last couple of months, which is one of the reasons I got rid of my subscription to this company, is ChatGPT became completely unusable for what I was primarily using it for, which was writing copy. And it was funny. I don't know if I can find this post right now, but there was a post inside that I actually bookmarked where someone sat down with Sam Altman and was like, hey, just a heads up, like, oh, it's this right here. Here, check this out. I thought this was really interesting.
Funny, quick little side note on that. Talking about the ability, like unusability of the app. Actually, our designer for our logo here wasn't able to make it on ChatGPT or Gemini. Had to use Grok.
That's interesting for Gemini. That's interesting on Gemini. ChatGPT doesn't surprise me at all. I think OpenAI is really playing catch up at this point, and I think everyone who's using ChatGPT is sort of realizing that. And I think it's based on the fact that they are doubling down on code. We'll watch this really quick. The headline here is breaking. OpenAI CEO admits they sacrificed ChatGPT's creative writing to chase coding. Sam Altman, I think we screwed that up. We have limited bandwidth, etc. So let's go ahead and see what good old Sammy boy had to say.
There's been a lot of discourse on like Twitter and X recently about GPT-5's writing in ChatGPT and being a little unwieldy, hard to read. Obviously, GPT-5 is a much better agent model, really good tool use, intermediate reasoning, whatever. So it feels like models are a little bit spiky, or they've gotten even spikier, where some spikes like coding got super high, some spikes like, or it's very unspiky around writing. So I'm just kind of curious how OpenAI thinks about that feature.
I think we just screwed that up. We will make future versions of GPT 5.x hopefully much better at writing than 4.5 was. We did decide, and I think for good reason, to put most of our effort in 5.2 into making it super good at intelligence, reasoning, coding, engineering, that kind of thing. And we have
speak so slow. Holy shit!
Sometimes we focus on one thing and neglect another. But I believe that the future is mostly going to be about very good general purpose models. You know, even if you're trying to make a model that's really great at coding, it'd be nice if it writes well too. Like if you're trying to have it be able to generate a full application for you, you'd like good writing in there. When it's interacting with you, you'd like to have a sort of thoughtful, incisive personality and communicate clearly, like good writing in the sense of clear thought, not like beautiful prose. So my hope is that we just push to get future models really good in all of these dimensions. And I think
Okay, we get it.
I was going to say, whoever has our video right now on speed just got turbo kicked there.
Yeah, that's okay. Plenty of streamers turn their stuff on turbo speed, and then you have to, like, it's funny when you listen, you like have to hold down the space bar, and then when you get to the video that they're watching, you stop, and then you press it again, and then you stop to change the speed. Yeah, I mean, this is what I ran into personally a couple of months ago. I got rid of my ChatGPT subscription. There was no reason for me to pay for it. I wasn't using Sora. I wasn't using any of the image generation. I don't code. So, and the agent model wasn't like that. Example and be like, hey, like answer this question based on what you know about me. And Gemini is a lot more cagey about just like going from conversation to conversation.
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey, look, I don't know anything about you because I can't access anything outside of this particular chat.
Which is really annoying.
Yeah.
So we need to find a better way. I don't know if there is something right now that can extract the context, because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for more of that. I mean, at the same time, sometimes it's nice to have the isolate or siloed little conversations that don't know where you just went on a tangent and you lost yourself with the AI. That it doesn't hold on to that. But yeah, so regarding what we were just talking about here when you asked about the temperature, yeah, so you can't do it as far as I saw on ChatGPT or Grok. Those that you need to like actually just manually describe in your prompt what you're looking for.
That's how you control the temperature.
Yeah, exactly. It's based on the language that you're feeding it. Whereas if you go to Google, again, it's not in Gemini, but you need to go to the Google Studio where you can actually start to build apps and do different things like that. And if you go into the Google Studio there, you have the opportunity to crank up the temperature a little bit, make some other adjustments to how the model responds to you.
Yeah. I think when it comes to ChatGPT, obviously you can like create projects and you can always like go into like a particular project and have it start from like a set of parameters from the prompt that you have uploaded to there. The thing that I just need to get on board with, and it's funny that I haven't. It's just I hate. This is such a stupid reason not to, but I hate the aesthetic of Claude. Every time I open Claude, I want to throw up. I think the aesthetic is so ugly, and maybe this is based on me like having opened it like 7 months ago. That was the last time I did it.
Yeah,
but like it like looks like this sort of like 2006 like Notepad app from like the early internet. I can't stand it.
I mean, I need to use Claude Code. I haven't been using it in Anthropic. I haven't been using it as an LLM or the Perplexity. Yeah. So I hadn't been using that. I was recommended it like a couple months ago. And then at that time, a guy I know who's like a buddy of his is like a pro NBA player or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, you got to use this because this is the only one out of all the ones that can go fetch the real-time data best comparatively. I found Grok to be pretty good right now. So I've been sticking with that. But
yeah. When it comes to Claude, again, everyone has been saying marketing and long-form writing. This is a category that it owns. This post is confirming that coding, marketing and long-form writing, and spreadsheet and business analysis. When it comes to Gemini, it's already saying right out of the gate, it dominates research. I have found this to be the case as well. If I'm needing research on generalized concepts, I go to Gemini. If I need something for, again, Grok, look, real-time social analysis.
Yep.
It's generally the way that I've been using the AIs. Let's see what it says about GPT-5
and forward use cases. I've been using Grok for as well. Trying to think about like being able to do a bit of a better job. I feel like being able to project where things are going.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. GPT-5 is a useful negative example. I'm not being contrarian for engagement. GPT-5 consistently produces the most generic, obviously AI written output. Run the same prompt through Claude, Gemini, and GPT-5, and you'll spot the GPT output immediately. It has a particular blandness that's hard to describe, but impossible to miss once you see it. Understanding what mediocre AI output looks like helps you avoid producing it. So GPT-5 serves as a reference point for that. And this is definitely true. Like if you ever see copy that says, and motivation, that is insight. Like a sentence that sounds exactly like that, you already know it's like ChatGPT, and it's annoying, and it makes me want to like turn off like whatever it is that I'm reading.
Yeah, it could be something like that like is the tell and gives it away. But I would say it's not entirely true as well, because of the piece we were just talking about of the additional context it can have in regards to memory. So if you've given it enough information or like context around you or your writing style, then it can adopt that potentially better than Gemini or some of these other ones, unless of course you have all that context in one set siloed chat. I see you're being trolled a little bit right now by X. It's like you have Mexicans is trending.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. I feel called out. Again, this is an example of our gear listening to us and making jokes at our expense, which I probably deserve based on the nasty, horrible shit that I've said to Grok out of anger. So it's playing a trick back on me. The decision framework, stop asking which AI is best and start asking, what am I trying to do? I thought this was very, very useful as well. Coding and technical writing, Claude. Research, Gemini. Long form document analysis, Gemini. I've also found this to be the case. Marketing and copy, Claude. Spreadsheet work, Claude. I want to play around with this. I have needed to do a couple of things related to bookkeeping over the last couple of months. I found myself very frustrated with ChatGPT when I was using it on the paid version. It was just making a lot of mistakes, that kind of thing. So I'll have to play around with Claude at that point. Social media.
I mean, you also have Gemini that can be in Sheets. So if you're trying to do something in spreadsheets or Excel, or Gemini can be right in there.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't actually use Sheets. I use Numbers, which makes me like super Apple lame. But image generation, Nano Banana Pro also has proven to be the case. Video generation, I don't do much of it, but VO and Kling seem to be the same places where I would go to use video generation. So again, from here, this is where it gets into prompt engineering in 2026, chain of thought, the system prompt formula, context engineering, the 4 strategies, Claude projects in practice, and it goes on and on and on. So again, even if you are a business owner, if you're not using prompts and properly engineering your prompts in order to do specific work on the platforms where it was just listed here on screen, this is going to be a really great article to go and check out in order to formalize your approach just a little bit more than it probably is currently, and help you understand which platforms you should be trying to do what tasks on. Anything else that you want to add on this?
I mean, if you want to simplify it for yourself and you don't feel like reading all that, go hit, like if you have Grok as well yourself, just hit Grok up on the post and then just give it the context for you, your business, whatever you're looking for. And then it can extract what's relevant for you. You can have a little summary.
I am gay. How is this relevant? Yeah, nice. Next post. Do you want to read this one?
Yep. Let's go. So Kane Calloway. I don't know this guy.
Calloway's a big creator on YouTube, who does a lot of stuff in the realm of social media in general and personal branding.
Yeah. All right. So my hottest take is that vibe coding is actually just massive procrastination disguised as productivity. Yep. Probably. I know Riley Brown is going to jump me for this. All right. In order to build a viable business, all you need is attention and product. But to build a great product, it requires a ton of customer feedback, a ton. So hundreds and hundreds of sessions with customers to figure out what they actually want. Several iterations, tons of retracing steps, etc. Vibe coding allows amateur product builders to continually get the dopamine high of shipping without needing to ever talk to a customer. Yeah, I love that. Give me that high of shipping.
Please.
Please.
I never want to talk to one.
Ship it straight to the veins. Like, when one product doesn't work, they just get jumped to the next. The problem with vibe coding is that it reduces the friction of building such that the penalty for not talking to customers is almost zero. Nobody likes talking to customers, so nobody will. This means you're going to see 12 products in 12 days played out to infinity, all while ignoring the most important thing, product feedback. Eventually, vibe coding will mean that legit product builders can spend less time coding and more time to talking to customers, which will help the world push forward. But the talking to customers is a non-negotiable to building a great product.
What are your thoughts?
There's probably some truth in that I don't like to hear because I just want to play and vibe all day.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought
it's
I would have you.
Procrastination. That's like, if I think about myself when I was like a little kid in school, like every piece of homework and stuff like that, procrastinated. I was like, no, not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's funny, and this is probably why we're a good pair for this, is because when hearing you read this post, the part of this process that I am the least interested in is the vibe coding. The most interesting part for me is the talking to customers.
Yeah.
Right. So like maybe you're just the back end and I'm like the front end.
What are you talking about? I'm here right now.
Well, no,
I'm here talking.
Not on the show. Not on the show. I just mean like dealing with customers, the marketing side of things. Because we want to develop some products in the background based on all the information that we're picking up from this particular cast.
Yeah. I think I like humans more than you do. But
that could be. You
somehow like interacting with them more. I probably
that is actually an interesting insight. You probably have a lot more trust in humanity than I do, but I utilize.
I say trust.
Well, would you say like?
I appreciate humans, or like I want to see humans win.
Okay. I mean I do too. This is my Peter Thiel on the New York Times interview hesitation moment when it comes to humanity. We'll get into this another time. I think that when it comes to product development in general, again, as we just saw with the kind of conversation that we just had with Driss, I'm really interested on the marketing side. And I think the place where you're really focused on, and you have stressed a certain focus on not wanting to miss the moment. For me, I'm kind of more than happy to miss the moment because I hate coding and I'm never gonna unless I really sit down and like force myself to do it, probably in some sort of structured unit, I'm not gonna do it, right? And it's funny because yesterday we were talking shit on courses, right? And I was thinking in the shower earlier today before we started this particular show, that I have a qualification there that I want to throw in.
Okay.
Because I think the shit that we were talking about with courses yesterday,
info products,
courses, is that when you there's no reason to buy a course at this point, because if someone is selling you a course on how to make money, the fact that they are not doing the actual thing themselves and just putting all of their energy into that and they're focusing on teaching is an indication that they're not making actual money doing the thing, because if they did, they wouldn't be teaching, right? My qualification here is this, because what our takeaway there was, it's not worth buying courses at this point. I don't think that's true. I think if there is something that is genuinely, that you're genuinely interested in educating yourself about, if there is something in the realm of fitness that you feel like you need just further education or further support, if there's something that you are looking for when it comes to community, there is definitely value in buying a course or buying a community. I think where it maybe starts to fall apart a little bit is when you are buying a course from someone who says, make money this way. It's a very specific type of course that I think I was criticizing yesterday that I didn't do a good job of properly delineating between.
So interesting talking about the course. I feel like we're on the somewhere there's a wavelength that came through while you were in the shower and I was watching this video that you told me to watch, that I was like,
the Hormozi?
The Hormozi one with Tony Robbins, and I was like, is this going to be a waste of my time?
What was it?
And you were like, it might be. And then honestly, I'm like, I loved it. I mean, I went through it at speed, so it was interesting to watch. I mean, it's interesting because it was like a flashback, or not a flash. It brought me back to the origins of getting into making money online and trying to do something for yourself. And something about it felt very wow, there's a need for the conversation we just had earlier as well about trying to help other people get to the space of becoming actual owners, right? Becoming the founders in the business, the ones running the business, right? So getting into that state of ownership, I think, is when you're talking about bringing out a course in some form. I'm like, again, I had not had an interest in that for a very long time. And I'm not saying I'm going to go do that now, but at the same time, it's yes, I would also like to contribute to saving all kinds of people that are capable of helping do a little bit of work to get themselves out of the gutter so that they can be owners and founders and put themselves in a better state for the shifts that we're currently experiencing.
I wonder what you think about this particular article. Again, we're not going to read the entire thing, but I ended up coming across a lot of criticisms of the conversation based on the fact that like Alex Hormozi is like a shell of a person. And without me going into this too much, let me just read the first couple of lines of this, right? The internet just watched Tony Robbins try to save Alex Hormozi's soul, and Hormozi couldn't let him. I watched the most uncomfortable 69 minutes of content in recent memory this week. Tony Robbins, was basically spending an hour with Alex trying to help him see something that Hormozi couldn't. Here's the moment that broke my brain. Tony identified two versions of Alex: analytical Alex, the brilliant optimizer who lives entirely in his head, and anabolic Alex, the version full of life and joy. He told Hormozi directly, the brain will never let you make, the brain will never make you happy because it's designed to analyze and reduce. The heart magnifies. Hormozi's response was to double down on optimization, on metrics, on the scoreboard. Tony tried again. He told him about feeding 1 billion people, about rescuing 72,000 children from trafficking, about finding fulfillment through moonshots of contribution that had nothing to do with personal wealth accumulation. Hormozi's takeaway was that he wants to help 100,000 men reach $100,000 in their bank account. Watch that back. A man who has spent his entire life understanding human psychology, who transformed millions of lives, who built an entire empire on teaching people to find meaning, essentially told Hormozi, you've hypnotized yourself into missing happiness. You were trained to believe pain equals success. Get off your emotional ass and realize you deserve joy. And Hormozi heard, here's another metric to chase. What is your takeaway from that? Because that kind of encapsulates the article, I think.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I want to understand. Like, I want to know what you're thinking on it. I have like several thoughts on it, but it's more just like, again, it's all not about what I saw as much as how I've experienced similar things myself.
I would prefer to start there though, I think, because that might help temper me in my approach, because
you can just come out unhinged if you want to.
No, it's not just that though. It's just like I'm reading this and this even feels like a bit of a milk toast take. Right. And I'll explain why in a minute, but I really do want to kind of hear like what it brought for you.
I mean, honestly, I wrote up a whole bunch of things. But this comes back to, in a sense, of what I felt yesterday when we were talking, and we mentioned the guy who was celebrating and everyone was like bashing him for making, he made $2,500 or whatever. I'm like, okay, sweet. So I'm like, and then I'm like, when I was watching this, I reflected on that again. I'm like, okay, so if I make 100x that, but he has like, okay, so I have 100x that on a financial basis, but this guy has 100x the happiness that I have based like on 100x less income. I'm like, who's really winning here? You know, like what is the game that we're actually playing? Like what's the point of life is like what a lot of this comes to. And I don't know how to define it, but anyways, to just on a self-reflective side of things.
To be clear, it sounds like from that you would prefer to go in the direction of like the guy who has less wealth, but like 100x more happiness.
Yeah,
in terms of fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, because again, this, you know, and everyone would be like, oh, that's easy to say if you have some money, right? Which you know, again, coming from that angle, it is an example of maybe that, I don't know if there's a bias or something, but when you have the money, it doesn't necessarily make everything perfect, right? Again, it doesn't make life just everything golden, as you see from this example. Like Alex was in the analytical state, it was like he was nervous, he was uneasy at the start, almost even, and then he kept trying to be in his head, and then anytime Tony got him into his heart a little bit, like you could literally see it was like a child. Like not trying to talk down or anything. It's like, but it was great to see because it was like there was a little bit of joy. Like his cheeks started to get rosy. Like he was happy. Like there was some life that came into him. So I don't know. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Cool. There was one more thing that I was. It was this. You said it's a little bit easier to make these determinations when you have money, but like we're both in the place.
People
where,
say that. Yeah.
Well, it's. I don't even think people say that. It's just I think we're both in a place where again we have money, and the next question is, hey, are we going to be doing something because we get genuine enjoyment and genuine happiness from it?
Yeah.
Or are we going to just like buckle down and do something we don't like because we're like so focused on the metric of money,
getting more money?
And I think both of us are in this place where again, we have the luxury to kind of make that choice of being like, no, I'm just going to do the happiness thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's more difficult to make that choice if you're in a place where you don't have that. But I do think to a certain degree, having had my life completely fall apart at a certain point, I could have gone back and just become like a violinist again, which would have been, like, okay, like I just need money, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I just decided to fucking hack it out for like a year and a half with like zero certainty. And here I am in Bali as opposed to Salt Lake City 5 years later.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot easier for us to say it up here, but there is always a choice regardless of where you are on the ladder of whether you're going the direction of happiness or whether you're going the direction of money. And sometimes in the short term, you have to make the money decision so that you can work towards the happiness decision.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's not a problem.
Totally buy yourself the breathing room at least.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that I would add on to what you just said here. So this was my takeaway from the thing. My takeaway was actually not at all in line with what this article is espousing. I actually thought it was very bizarre that anyone walked away with any interpretation of what Alex said at all, because Alex barely talked. He barely talked.
Yeah.
Like he said like probably a grand total of like 300 words, that entire thing.
Yeah.
It would just be Tony Robbins talking for, like 10 minutes at a time, which is fine. It was an interview of Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
But I like, here's my thing. If my issue with what was shared there is optimizing around happiness, at least for me, still feels like a bit of a booby prize. And it's not to say that I wouldn't choose it over optimizing for, the metric or the money or whatever. But I wonder if there's potentially something larger that we have kind of lost sight of, because when I heard a conversation, when I heard that conversation, I worry that the way that most people take that conversation and run with it in their own lives, it ends up inherently pulling them back in the direction of some sort of metric, because that's the only thing that people use to measure happiness. Because I just don't know.
So I think
there's no deeper meaning in people's lives. So like there's no deeper meaning for them to derive happiness from. It's the only place that most people can derive happiness from is from metrics. And I think this maybe gets to what you just said a second ago. It's like there's a certain lack of trust and like lack of regard for human beings, I guess, that might be present on my end. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, I think one of the things Tony was really trying to say was it's not just happiness. That's one of the things it came down to, because I think Alex was saying like one of his slogans was like "fuck happiness" or something along those lines. But it was about fulfillment and contribution were the main things. I think that he was really trying to get to, that there needs to be some kind of moonshot or whatever that Alex or anybody would put into their life that like gets them hungry and feel fulfilled in the process of doing it and when they actually get there. And again, still, it's constantly in this post in this thing, we see this. You set up a post or a goal post to go get to, and then you go chase the thing, and then it's like, okay, it can be fulfilling along the way, but then once you get there, it's like we as humans, and like men especially, like we need something else to keep pursuing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I honestly wrote a whole bunch of notes on this and things I was thinking about talking about, but I'm not going to go get into.
No, read it. I mean, we're here.
No, I mean, it was just my own self-reflective things again. It was almost my own.
But that's what I want to hear.
It was almost my own therapy session in a way. So, so as a side note to this though, talking about it, and the way in which it came out is I saw this interview come out online. And then I've seen another one where Tony was talking in Peter Diamandis in the Moonshots conversation. So I didn't watch either of those because I saw, by me seeing Tony in both of those locations or in one or the other, I'm like, I know he's promoting something. I'm like,
yeah, he has a podcast tour that he does at the beginning of each year.
Yeah, there's that, but then it's also he creates like a new offer of some form
for the offer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he does it.
Yeah, exactly. Before there was like one with like Dean Graziosi and stuff like that. Him, like they're doing a lot of stuff together, which is, it's great and like it's helpful for people for sure. But for me, I was just like, I don't think I'm at the moment interested in any of Tony's stuff, so I didn't watch it.
It's not 2020 anymore. We're past that.
yeah, like everybody sitting at home and being forced to watch it because there's no
exactly.
no other content.
I did his course. I did his course in like 2020. Someone bought it for me, but yeah. Continue.
Yeah, and just as a self-reflective thing, it was just like for myself, I really came to the point of seeing. I'm like, oh, this is a fucking great reminder of like, you know, somebody in Alex's position with like he has far greater wealth than me. He's like helped more people than I have. And him being at a point of like where there's a bit of like satisfaction that he's missing, or that's just not there. And then seeing in myself when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I thought about like the contribution side of things that Tony's talking about and like charity and donation or whatever. And I'm like, there's been a couple of events I've gone to in California and other places, Vegas or Miami and stuff, where I've been to several events as well, where there's like a charity component. And like, this isn't saying anything, but like me as somebody who's not like exceptionally wealthy, I've been in the room or at these events with where there's like billionaires and stuff. And then there's been points where I've made contributions to these charity things and seen that the internal feeling I had around what I was giving felt like it was not enough. Felt like it was just like small, or like I was uneasy about it. And like I gave donations anonymously because I was like, oh, I didn't want my name or face to be tied and associated with the contribution I made. And then there's been multiple occasions where it just as something like to see when I'm like reflect back on it, I'm like, I've given more at these times, but still internally felt like it's not enough or embarrassed by it in some sense. Right. So just as a self-reflective thing, just looking at my own life, and that as a comparison to the example we saw yesterday with the guy making $2,500 and him having more happiness. I'm like, dude, why do I do this to myself? Right. And that's the lesson I learned anyways, this seeing from Alex, because there's a little bit of him doing something to himself. It's like these self-imposed, stories that we tell, or like the language that we use around what the experience is, because a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, we're in our heads, right? And with the process of what that is, it's taking all the information out there, AI and business, and needing to make decisions and stuff like this. And it's always the reduction, right? It's the reducing things, bringing it down, versus as he's seeing this example, oh, don't see it anymore, but Tony's trying to hold the heart up basically. And like, yeah, lead with your heart and like, you know, expand your energy and stuff out. But yeah.
Yeah. I think what you say there at the end, maybe it kind of brings me a little bit more back down to earth, and probably how I should have listened to the conversation. It's just like, it's fundamentals, right? And I think one of the big fundamentals that I have a tendency to lose sight of is, again, I tend to be in every room, and this is less so of a problem now, but this was really a problem over the last, like between 2022, 2023, and 2024, I'd probably say. And probably halfway through 2025. So it was about a 3-year problem. But here in Bali, for example, I would be meeting people all over the place. And my immediate assumption, even though I was doing significantly better than like probably most people that I knew, I would walk into a room and just immediately assume that like I was not like, I was probably the smallest chicken in the bunch.
Yeah.
Right. And this wasn't coming from a place of me trying to be strategic in order to like offer value, or like however like gurus tend to present that type of thing. It was like me walking in and being like, oh, I probably got like nothing that's like all that impressive or whatever. Yeah. But there was a specific moment that drew that like really sent this home for me, which was I was at this party one night and there was this Russian guy who was like, you know, talking pretty big game. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, like I have this going, I have this going, I have this going. And it was the end of the night of this particular house party, and we wanted to continue partying. So there was a discussion between me, him, and 2 other people. Okay, where do we go? I have this villa, right? It's, you know, it's big, you know, big, like it's bigger than like you would run into with like a backpacker who's like running with like a guest house or whatever. And I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, and on top of that, I had like a full alcohol cabinet. I have like party lights, like it's a vibe. And in talking to him, I was like, you know what? Like, he was like, oh, we could go back to my place. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to his place. I'm sure it's significantly nicer than mine. Cause like, again, I have a villa. It's not like a fucking like massive, like crazy villa. We get to this motherfucker's house at like 3 a.m. This is a guest house, and 25% of the room is taken up by this vision board, which is on like a big like easel, where it says have sex with a lot of girls this year, and also says like
Bro,
make
life.
$100,000.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, bro, what have I done? And again, I think this is reflective of kind of the point that you're
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah.
We tend to walk into rooms thinking that we are the smallest fish, when in reality we're probably like one of the like larger fish in the pond.
And then you have the other complex, like this guy you're talking about, where he maybe thought he was the big dog, right? He's like, I'm gonna sleep with 100 people, and I'm my mission is to make 100K this year. And then he's like, I'm gonna come home and like show my vision board to everybody, and they're gonna be so impressed. And
that was a dark night. That was a dark night of the soul. That was, it's funny. I think that story does kind of stick out, just because again, it was the perfect illustration of why it is useful to not walk around with that story playing in the back of your head. Because when you do that, let's say you are in a room where you are kind of the smallest fish, it affects the way that you interact with the people around you. And when the people around you start to kind of pick up on that feeling where like you might like kind of feel small or whatever, it gives people, for lack of a better phrase, like a bit of an ick. Or if they are going to engage with you, they're engaging with you sort of as a mentor, where they're like, oh, I see myself like a couple of years ago, like he's sort of doing now. So like, let me engage with him. But like no normal person in like a normal state of mind is going to look at that in that energy and be like, oh, you know what? Let's hang out with that guy. Instead, if you walk in and you're just like, I don't know any of these people, like let's just interact with them like they're normal human beings. Then all of a sudden you actually end up getting more. I've found you end up getting a larger network, more opportunities come your way, just because you're able to generally vibe with the person in front of you. So
I think we should become a motivation life coaching.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say one more thing about this. And this is due to an offer that I was going to try and launch a few months before we were going to try and do something here. There's this school that I can't remember the name of. It's a school in Switzerland, which is like it's one of the most famous schools in the world. It's like the most exclusive like boarding school or whatever. It's like it's some Frenchish name. So my point here is this.
Switzerland? No.
My point here is this.
That's awesome.
One of the big things that this school really focused on in the research that I did, because I was going to try and reach kids that went to this school or graduates of this school at the very least. One of the big things that they teach is ease in any situation. Ease in any social situation, whether they're interacting with people at their same financial level, which these guys are from like the richest families in the world, or if they're interacting with people at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And I thought that the fact that this school focuses so heavily on that, it was a good indication that having that skill set, which involves you being able to walk into rooms and not automatically assume that like you're coming from a place of lack or coming from a place that's like not good enough in one way or the other. But being able to interface with people as they are is one of the most powerful skills that you can possibly accomplish.
That's why you want to partner with me on this.
Exactly.
You're like, look at this guy.
Why?
Nonchalant as.
Yeah, he's very nonchalant. He makes me feel calm.
Ease.
He brings me back down to earth. Okay, I think we've probably milked this topic enough. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Feels milky.
Yeah. From here, this was another topic that I thought was interesting. Like all of these tools, you never know how good it's actually going to be. However, when it comes to companies being able to say, hey, Groons works with us, it kind of causes you to pay attention. So this is from Alex Cooper. He's a creator on X with 25,000 followers, introducing Parker, the world's first AI creative director. 100 plus brands like Groons, Loom, and Legends use this already. So let's take a look at the launch video and we'll go from there.
Today, I'm proud to introduce Parker, the world's first AI creative director that makes better ads than any human. Over 100 of the world's fastest growing companies like Groons, Loomy, and Legends.com use Parker already. So let's see Parker in action. Let's say you're a supplement brand that wants to make 10 viral ads. Right now, it takes hundreds of hours of research and writing to make one viral ad. Parker does this for you. Parker connects to your reviews, ad account, comments, and even TikTok. We'll communicate with Parker just like we would a real employee. Hey Parker, what are 5 viral ads I can make this week? In a few minutes, he returned 5 concepts, each with a persona, audience, and full brief ready to go into production. Parker has been trained on thousands of winning ads, so he understands how to build ads that actually sell. But writing high converting scripts is just the start. Parker also has an autonomous research mode. While you sleep, he scrolls on TikTok and saves ads he thinks you should copy. This week, he found multiple viral TikToks and has saved them for you to review. In one click, Parker can turn them into ready-to-shoot scripts that your team can take to the finish line. Before Parker, a creative team of 3 could make 10 viral ads a week. With Parker, a creative team of 3 can make 100 viral ads a week. To celebrate the launch, we're giving away a mega spreadsheet of over 100 AI prompt engineers who are trained in AI ad making. The spreadsheet has their information and portfolio. If you want it, retweet and comment Parker.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. So like, I think something like this, even though it's probably going to deliver you scripts that are like in the realm of like 80% there, and you have to kind of go through and kind of fix it up.
Probably pretty mid, a good amount of them.
The thing that's probably worth keeping in mind, oh wow, I'm good at this, is even if it just does this part right here, where it connects to all of these different platforms and sources stuff from your accounts, sources what's working on different ad accounts. Like, this is the administrative part that takes so long and is so just like, it's such a grind.
Tedious before AI.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, a lot of guys have been building, what's that website? Gumroad. A lot of guys have been building automations on Gumroad that technically take care of something like this, where you can connect a number of different tools with different APIs, or they're doing it through like Zapier or Make or N8N or whatever. And I think the fact that we're now getting to this place where those workflows are being turned into consumer products is is a very strong indication that marketing, a little bit of what we talked about yesterday in terms of the expertise related to marketing versus a technical ad buyer, it again is going more so in the direction of focusing on creative, but even the creative is going to be changing in terms of the workflows, because the expectation in order for you to keep a job is not to pump out 10 to 20 creatives a week. It's going to be to pump out 100 here to manage the street ad campaign that you might like hire Josh Suggs for, type of thing, and to be able to manage your existing internal team, and to be able to pump out somewhere in the realm of like, 120, 150 ads per week. And that's going to be essentially the new standard. It's essentially the electronification of the economy that happened back in the 1950s, when we started getting like mixers and dishwashers and whatever. It's not like we did those things and then we just hung out. We like got those things and then we did more housework around the house. We like repaired more stuff. We put the kids in more activities. It's just the more time we save. It's not the more relaxation we have or the more unemployment that happens. It's just a higher and higher level of expectation of what the outputs are.
Yeah.
Higher level of productivity.
Yeah. I'm really wondering still how some of the human component is going to remain relevant in some of these areas. When I look at this and like how this would plug into methods we just had a conversation with, right? Like how, being able to find some of the most viral things and then have that already managed and set some of like the percentage that they're doing, right? That the creator will bring in.
Yeah. I feel like, again, if I were to use something like this and I was the main like creative director of everything happening inside of this particular platform, I think a lot of my time and energy would be focused on just going through each of the scripts and changing them in ways that like are just uniquely viral, based on things that are happening online, based on things that are being talked about in the real world, and based on just like my ability to write a good hook. And that last part is probably the least important part out of everything that I just mentioned. But having an up-to-date mimetic knowledge of what's happening online, I think, is the most important part with any like strategic campaign at this point. And if you were to use something like this in the context of UGC, maybe you use this as a starting place to give some creative ideas to your UGC content creators. Maybe you have like 100 people working on a brand new campaign, and you're just coming up with some new angles yourself, this is a way to do so quickly, to get out all of those creative briefs to the creators. And then from there, you're not just depending on this centralized brain. What is it called? Parker? Yeah, you're not just dependent on Parker by itself to do the creative testing, because like you're not really sure what's going to work until you just post it and start seeing it work. You're able to have a larger brain that allows your productivity output in terms of scripts. You hand those over to the creators, and then they're the ones who play around with the memetic knowledge based on what's happening in the here and now.
Yeah. I mean, this one does have the larger brain in a sense, as they mentioned, because they have the other prompt engineers. I don't know what that is, if those are all real human prompt engineers or a good amount of them are just different personas that have been created via AI. But it has a broader spectrum of what can be distributed, I guess, as far as content variety.
When I say memetic information, like what I mean by that is, like, for example, there's a platform that has existed for TikTok Shop called CaloData. And what you can do on CaloData is you can hop on and you can see what videos are performing the best for what specific products on TikTok Shop. You can see how many views that they're getting. You can see how much product has actually been sold on that specific video. And if you're a creator, this is obviously very useful, because if you're trying to be a UGC content creator for a specific product, you can go on, see what creative is performing the best, and just pull it straight from CaloData if you don't have the contact at the company yourself to try and do it, right? But I think part of the value here is, like, if you're managing UGC creators and you're trying to pull ads and campaigns from different competitor brands, that can work. Obviously, you can use the same angle, do it a little bit differently, get your 1 million views per video on your end. But ultimately, what is going to determine the memetic spread of what's happening in your company is really just dependent on your company and the vibe of, like, the people that you're trying to attract, the vibe of your UGC creators, the vibe of your creative team, how all of those things gel together. So again, I could see a tool like this working in a very what's the word that I'm looking for?
Autonomous?
No, not autonomous. It's like where one thing feeds into another.
Synergistic?
Synergistic, thank you. Working in a very synergistic way with UGC, where you actually have the distribution, you have the people tinkering in the moment on the ground, and it's not internal inside of your team. And then with a tool like Parker, you either use it to supercharge your existing team or just get rid of the deadweight players that you don't actually need. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. Interesting place that we're headed, I think. I thought this, if this does indeed work, cool product. And it's like we said yesterday, if it doesn't work, it's just going to keep getting better and better. And if they don't end up dominating the market, someone will, because this is how you make ads. It's just a matter of, like, who really nails, like, the creative stuff happening on the back end.
Yeah, which is fantastic for all the vibe coders we're talking about before, to be able to have some of these systems to help with the marketing.
Straight up.
Okay,
from here, I want to, this is going to be our vibes post of the day. We're going to generally do only one vibes post.
Gotcha.
I think we're perfect at 11.
I don't know. Are we not? When did we start?
9.
Oh. Oh yeah, I thought we started at 8.
Yeah, Connor's like, oh fuck. Okay, so
no, not at all. Fuck, I was just like, I was confused. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I saw the number round out, and I was like, wait.
Well, what I was gonna say is, while I'm going through some of this, if you maybe want to find some stuff in real time and see if there's anything cool to take a look at on your end, and then just send it to me on WhatsApp. I want to do one vibes post per session, because this is something that really blew up in the money Twitter space last week. This is from Adam Young. He's the CEO of a company called Ringba. Ringba is an enterprise tool that helps standardize and centralize a lot of the data inside of the pay-per-call industry. So he's made a lot of money doing that, just because I think prior to Ringba, a lot of what was happening in the pay-per-call industry was deep, like just same kind of thing that we were talking with Driss, is just the information was all over the place. That allowed pay-per-call companies to kind of screw over the affiliates that were actually working on the campaigns, because information wasn't centralized, blah, 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 right?
Too much bots, too much weak traffic.
Yeah. So this guy is viewed as one of the probably top players inside of money Twitter, as we all know. And he wrote this honestly really good, down to earth, practical. I shouldn't say down to earth because he paid, I think, over $150,000 to $200,000 to find a girlfriend, essentially. So it's not really down to earth. But I thought it was some of the best advice when it comes to finding a partner that included, I would say, the best parts and the best and most functional and most psychologically healthy elements of Red Pill, along with just like general, hey, like here's how to surround yourself with good people vibes. So with this, I think this is one that I'm gonna check out the entirety of because it's worth doing. So
I want to know how to bag a unicorn.
Yeah, straight up.
Just kidding.
Ellen
I already did it.
Or no, sorry, not name. I don't know if we're saying name. Sorry. This Vieta Ellen. now it's equal. Okay, from here.
Retard.
Yeah, sorry. This is gonna offend a shitload of people. Perfect. I broke off an engagement in 2025, most painful year of my life. So I decided to get me one of these girls that supposedly doesn't exist. Dedicated to all the losers out there who think they deserve a goddess tier wife but haven't washed their sheets since the Obama administration. The mythical girl the Red Pill prophets preach about but are never able to bag themselves. 18 to 25, 8.5 plus hot, 0 to 3 body count, traditional family values, soft and feminine. You can read the rest of the stuff on here. This is just
the definition of my wife.
Yeah, cool, exactly. And
fucking rock star.
Same here. So I felt very happy like reading through this. I was like, oh man, I found someone pretty awesome,
and didn't have to pay $100,000 for it.
That's true. She would probably prefer if I had to pay $100,000
if she was compensated.
Yeah, exactly. If it went directly to her, right? So from here, with my additional requirements below, I said there are about 25 girls in the U.S. that meet all of my specs. Which means there are probably about 7, and 5 of them are in therapy because of guys like me. This is not possible for 99.9% of men. For me, light work. So let's keep going. Part of his criteria was no apps, no dates, no matchmakers. Let's get into it. So step 1, describe her. An incredibly beautiful young Asian lover girl who has aligned family values, radiates positivity and optimism, just all of the things that he wants, right? So from here, step 2, decide on the demographics, 21 to 25, Asian American, preferably Vietnamese or Thai, very athletic. The personality types. Do you know anything about personality types? Have you ever done this?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know anything about this. Do you know what these are?
I'm INTP.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Okay. But you don't know what the other ones are?
The first ones are like extroverted, introverted.
I see. Okay, got it. All right, whatever.
Is the initial piece, so it's like it's your dominant ones. Yeah.
If you know what this is at home,
I don't know how to define all of them when I look at them. I know what my own one is.
Yeah. Okay. So from there, Florida was statistically cooked, so I was willing to travel for a couple of months, and I was fully prepared to pay for the logistical chaos of uprooting someone's entire life with a spreadsheet. So define her qualities and values: honest, transparent, respectful, gracious, expresses gratitude, polite, kind, humble, deeply loving, hopeless, romantic, strong character, strong work ethic, all these positive things. And then from here, he wanted to write a letter to his future wife, whoever she is. And again, you read through it, it's a bit of just like a pie in the sky wish list. I shouldn't say pie in the sky. It's a wish list, right? Mm-hmm. Define our mutual interests: dedicated to fitness, dancing, EDM, music festivals, blah, blah, blah. Step 5, set non-negotiable deal breakers. This person cannot have children, cannot have avoidant behavior, cannot have previously cheated, cannot have had or has a sugar daddy, parents are divorced, never had a job, can't travel with me constantly, anything more than a casual drinker, smoker, you can't date smokers, people who do drugs, materialistic or entitled, intimacy issues, visible, medium, or large scale tattoos, strong preference for no tattoos. Call it harsh. I call it risk management. Step 6, identify where your target audience lives. So again, so far inside of this, we're seeing that he's kind of approaching this like a marketing campaign, right?
Yeah, it's an ad campaign, it's a marketing campaign. You're shopping for a set. You know what you want. You're shopping.
Yeah, it's a meta campaign, and here's my ad set. We'll get to the creative part a little bit later, but again, I don't think it's worth mentioning that he approaches this like a marketer essentially, which is his background, right? So identify where your target audience lives: San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Dallas, Houston. Find people who are connected to your target audience. This is where it starts to get interesting. In Vegas, the Asian nightlife ecosystem runs through VIP hosts, promoters, bottle girls, and other hospitality crews. There's a picture of him. That's him in the background. This is the crew that he's hanging with. I'd like to thank the Asian American community for allowing me to join. When girls in my target pool go to Vegas, they hit these people up for guest list comps, tables, especially 21 to 25. So if you're trying to find someone who is inside of your dream list, figure out who that person hangs out with and start hanging out with the people in that group. Don't try and go for the person immediately. Establish some roots inside of that group so that you can kind of get started. Vegas pool, people thought that what I was doing was crazy and they loved it. Also, they were getting paid. Capitalism is lit because, again, he was paying the promoters to bring out like certain girls or whatever. Now you know why I was in Vegas last summer partying. I was building my network. Girls clock mutual connections instantly. I made friends with 20 plus girls who were plugged in and not my type on purpose. I took them to festivals, parties, Vegas, so they knew me as a human and would vouch or introduce anytime. So this is the equivalent of getting a bunch of like positive customer reviews and putting them on your website, right? And like this type of video, being able to post this consistently is an indication that people like to be around you. They like to hang out with you, that you're someone that they can trust. If you're surrounded by attractive girls, you've basically got a 5-star Yelp rating for didn't murder us. Pro tip, you need to be indifferent about beauty. It's simply the price of entry. If beauty impresses you, you're getting friend zoned immediately.
What? What is that? How's that the pro tip?
Well, I think what he's essentially saying here is if you're getting there and you're getting like nervous in front of people because like they're pretty or like whatever, that puts you in a place where automatically they're like, okay, this guy's like just sort of a goober.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
It's a little bit of what I was saying a little bit earlier about going in and thinking that you're at the bottom of the food chain and people can feel that energy. I think it's the same thing here, but with beauty. Ease, exactly, exactly. So immutable rules with this friend group that he created for himself. Number 1, no boundary crossing with these girls. Don't make friends with girls you date. So if you find someone that you are interested in dating, be very clear with your intentions. Don't try and be their friend in order to like get out of the friend zone, hopefully in the future. If you're serious about this, you stop spreading your energy around. No casual hookups, no situationships, no talking, nothing. All in or all out, no exceptions. The right one will feel it. Thirsty men are pathetic. Getting laid isn't impressive. Restraint is impressive. So from here, build a team. Getting 15 Gen Z girls to do anything is a full-time job. So I hired an EDM-loving 23-year-old baddie scientist to run my harem's HR department. All the girls love her and feel safe around her. She fields referrals, recruits, vibe checks, and does fitness compliance. For travel agents, I book a girl's house, and she stays there to make sure everyone is good and to let me know if there are any issues. She's basically EDM OSHA. That was actually a funny description. So here, I thought this was, I think the equivalent to this is basically, again, finding a platonic girlfriend that can be the head of like this group of people that you're trying to get around to go and do things, because again, you're establishing relationships with this group of people so that they can vouch for you in the future. Right. So this
and you got to pay for that.
Not necessarily. If you're just like a person or individual, like I have plenty of female friends that I feel like would do something like this for me because it was interesting enough for them to expand their friend group, kind of thing.
I mean, the whole thing right now looks like it's predicated on playing, right? Like you're going out to the clubs, you're going to festivals, you're doing whatever. So it's just events, and play is like where the women want to be and where they want to dance and have fun. And
I think it's where his women want to be. I think if you're an individual who is not necessarily super into that scene, you would do this differently.
But then I wonder, does his life continue on that trajectory? Because he mentioned a lot of other things, but is he going to stay going to the events 50 and stuff?
Kind of thing? So I think that
not that it can't, and not that I'm saying it shouldn't. I'm like, totally go to the events, go to the EDM festivals, everything. Yeah.
That's I think that's generally his lifestyle as is. The sense that I got from this article is that he goes to these places, like he really likes EDM, but he doesn't drink. I think he's sober, if memory serves. So he's that kind of person who just likes the vibe, kind of thing. So from here, it's important that you send some ground rules if you're going to do this. No girls too far outside of your age range. No girls with boyfriends unless you like drama at 1 a.m. No girls that get too fucked up. No pick-me girls. No girls that need to be the center of attention. Must pass a vibe check. Personal friend referrals only. Pro tip, bring a bodyguard. When you're surrounded by 15 hot girls, bullshit follows. Very rarely does anyone have the balls to test you with a 325-pound former NFL linebacker standing there. Give them safe space, and they'll bring the vibes. Again, maybe not so useful for the general guy, but I thought that was
I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious.
No, he's helping facilitate, helping create the vibe for sure. Yeah. Who doesn't want to just hang out there?
Yeah. Pro tip part 2, hot girls equal access. I can get into most places on my own, but when you're rolling deep with a harem, doors open differently. And when I do meet new people, one of the girls will make the intro in a way that I can't. We also hired a 5-person research team on Upwork. The researchers combed through hundreds of thousands of Instagram profiles my Asian network followed and dumped anything that matched my criteria into a Google Sheet. It was painstaking and it took hundreds of hours. But it worked. I fucking love the internet. Romance, but make it corporate.
Yeah. So how much and I really hope this worked. I don't know what the end of this is.
Yeah, he doesn't know yet. If you know,
I don't know if he found. I don't know if he found a woman yet or not. And if he does, then I really hope for him that the relationship continues and is successful.
Yeah.
But this is it's like anything, right? You're engineering the outcome.
With an intended outcome in mind.
Yeah, having
you're
the intended
very
outcome,
specific
like,
about
how do I engineer this exact thing. Right?
Yeah, very intentional. From this research, they surfaced 3,200 potential matches. We narrowed that to 300 prospects, and I cut it down to 12 potentials. Out of the hundreds of thousands we scanned, that's basically 0.003%. Yes, I'm aware this is insane. Turns out Google Sheets is a hell of a dating app. At this point, I got concerned about personality type. I considered relaxing the standard because math. Then I remembered this is my future, not an all-you-can-eat buffet. INFJs are allegedly the rarest type, something like 0.5% of women, depending on who you ask. And somehow all 6 girls I met were INFJs. Between my custom AI, my selection bias, and the Matrix having a sense of humor, my subconscious apparently built a detector. Not sure how it happened, but I'm not bad about it. The universe responds to your energy. AY over AI for now, anyway. Step 9, create your landing page. Finding them was hard. Meeting them was easy. I came prepared. I turned my IG into the male equivalent of a thirst trap, and the right people started following. Hosts, bottle girls, models, influencers, the entire Vegas LinkedIn for degenerates. Power, status, mystery, humor, fun. This is his Instagram. I guess we can take a quick look at it.
It's funny talking about the influencer side of things real quick, or where that expands. I heard recently from somebody I know who's been in Miami or working in some of the nightclubs and stuff there and some of the top ones. And then she spent quite some time here in Bali as well. And she said it was interesting because so many of the influencers who are have these big audiences and have a certain attitude in Miami or California will come in and most of them look when you see what their social medias look like versus when they come in person, usually the real in person of them is a notch down or so, maybe a couple notches down from what their persona looks like online versus here in Bali. She was like, oh my God. She's like, I'm absolutely shocked that I go to every cafe I go to is people are just gorgeous and they're filled with they look better in person than they do online. Just as an observation that was made.
Yeah, no,
by a woman in the space.
This is probably not a very nice thing to say, but I feel like if I went back to regular civilization and walked around, I'd be like,
there's some hurting units around.
Why is everyone so busted?
I get why it's probably hard for a lot of these guys because they're still in these places. Right?
Yeah, for sure. From here, then I ran paid ads to boost a few posts in the region where I was hunting. Instant local followers, instant mutuals, instant credibility. Always got to optimize your funnel for conversion rate. Pro tip, grid is for status. Stories are day-to-day. Highlights are the movie trailers. Delete anything outdated. Keep it tight. Less is more. I started at the top of my list and got to work. All 12 had multiple mutuals. I found out which friends had the strongest connection, gathered intel, then asked my friends to bring them to an event or convince her to fly to Miami. I only met one at a time. Finding them was too much work to run a roster, and I was already surrounded by hot girls anyway. My plan worked flawlessly, 100% acceptance rate, which sounds fake, but my life may as well be a not Netflix documentary. First 5, these were the deal breakers. Avoidant, materialistic, emotional, outside the age range, hung up on past relationships. You got to hold the lines, bro. Doesn't matter how hot they are. 5 interviews, 5 disqualified. This Google Sheet was disrespectful as fuck. Hire slow, fire fast. But before we get to girl number 6, the entitled girl. Bought her a ticket to Miami and asked if she needed anything at the house or wanted to do anything. Maybe she's lactose intolerant. Maybe she wants to hit the beach. Fuck if I know. I'm a gentleman. When she sent this list, I burst out laughing. If I wanted a Miami girl, why the fuck would I fly one in? I get it. Closed mouths don't get fed. But damn, girl, did you want a man or a personal assistant? So he's asked, do you need anything? And this is what she sent. Big list.
Mm.
Key lime pie, a bunch of chugs.
Oh, I love
wellness stuff, walks. Are you doing any skin and beauty stuff we could do together? Chia seeds, bone broth, moolah, banana milk, every day dose matcha. And he said,
I mean, when you ask for it and you're like, I'm going to be accommodating, it's like, why not put up your wish list, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she gets to the end of her thing and he said, that list made me realize we're not aligned. Take it home in your email. Your things will be delivered to blank place in time. So again, he got in, got out of that. I didn't get a request. I got a purchase order. Unemployed, lives with mom, won't cut her own fruit. Candles have to be soy, needs a wardrobe. Sent her home with a ticket before she arrived and blocked her. Best $750 I've ever spent. My friend ran into her in Greece after. She was disappointed. Adam blocked me. She showed my friend the list. I guess she was still confused. Pro tip for the girls, lead with value, not expectations. Ask what you can give, not what you can get. If you're the prize, you're dating down. I thought this was actually a really interesting point. I think this is actually useful for both men and women. If you're the prize, you're dating down, and it depends on which dimension is important to you. I think for men, probably the dimension that is most important is financial stability, like being able to provide safety, kind of thing. For women, the what it is that they're looking for, or excuse me, what men are looking for in women are very different things. Right. But like if you go in thinking that you are the prize, it's sort of like walking into a room and thinking that you're the best rather than the worst, which is kind of where we come from. You just run into problems with both. If you can walk in with just like vibes, relaxation, it makes things significantly easier. And again, if you're really trying to like bag like someone up there and you go in thinking that you're the prize, you automatically date down. I thought that was an interesting insight. I've never heard it put that way, but I think that would be useful for most red pill guys, because red pill guys always go in thinking that like you're the prize.
And then trying to find still somehow in their eyes or mind somebody that's hotter than they are, or like
or better like, put together, or like more like a conservative, or whatever the fuck they're looking for, right? Again, this is a very useful frame of mind, I thought. Pro tip for the boys, stop performing, be clear, walk away fast. If everyone likes you, you're fake as fuck. Round 1, hunting girl number 6. I sent number 6's Insta profile to a VIP host in Vegas and offered to fly her out. You know this one? Yeah, LOL. She cool. Her and her friends should come party for Labor Day. I got a bag. They should try and come steal it. LOL. I'll see if she's coming to Vegas. Turns out she was already going to be in Vegas. Martin Garrix Friday. Excision Saturday. My heart swelled. Oh my God. An ABG that loves EDM, get the fuck out. Shit, I had plans Friday and was seeing Garrix Saturday. Wait, you can just cancel someone's plans you've never met. Girl number 6. Fuck yeah, I can. Somehow her Excision entry mysteriously evaporated. The VIP host's apology, bringing her to my table at Omnia. With girls like this, you have to be patient. They don't do casual. They do not move fast. They're selective. They've got unlimited options, and you don't riz your way into their hearts. Low body count means something discerning. You can see it in how they react to male attention. Earning their trust is difficult, expected, and even more so if they are INFJ. She's young, and I need a girl that can handle herself anywhere. So that night, I didn't talk to her at all. I just watched. She didn't seek attention, didn't get drunk, took care of her friends, kept to herself, set boundaries with men, didn't complain, was kind, soft, polite, and gracious. Zero expectations. She came for the music. We only spoke at the end of the night. She thanked me for having them at the table and appreciated how respectful we were. I invited her to see Cascade at the Sphere, huge Skydeck section. She said no. I didn't have tickets for all of her friends, and she wasn't willing to abandon them even for an incredible event. I was impressed. Here's the event. That actually looks pretty fun. Shit. Goddamn. From here, round 2. She was in Vegas again. It was about a month later, and this time I couldn't cancel her plans. Sometimes even I have limits. My host got them to come to an after party, and I set them at the booth facing the dance floor. It was 4 a.m. I didn't chase. I didn't care. I didn't try to riz. I let her observe my energy. I let her see what gravity looks like. They watched me dance shirtless with a bunch of girls for 45 minutes and left. We didn't say a word to each other. The next day, she viewed my Insta stories. So did some of her friends. She was curious. Later, she said I was the only guy she met in Vegas that didn't hit on her. Round 3, Griffin. She was back and wanted to see her favorite DJ. So I got her to come. Basically, being me is fucking lit. Conveniently, Griffin is also one of my favorites, and we had the owner's table at XS that night. I made sure they were all a good night. So he goes on and on and on, kind of talking about, how they met up. Setting intentions. Our toxic masculinity friends teach roster tactics. Friend zone girls, make them compete, keep it vague, collect bodies. Cool for casual sex, useless for bagging a potential queen. If you want something real, you do the opposite. You communicate intentions early, you disqualify fast, you stop worshiping beauty like it's a personality. Rejection doesn't exist. She either has alignment or she's disqualified. Beauty is a Boolean operator. She's attractive enough for long term equals true or false. If it's true, great. If it's false, great. File it and move on. Setting intentions isn't chasing. It's the opposite. It's you saying, this is what I want, and I'm willing to walk. Here's the first text exchange. You have great energy, blah, blah, blah. Ha, thank you. You're so sweet. I love that you asked me out on a date. I'm flattered. Blah, blah, blah. What did I do? I validated her energy, then pivoted to her mind. Pretty girls get the same boring shit all day. So I challenged her immediately. Most guys avoid depth. I run at it. I turned her find out in person into a date with a silly rhyme to make her laugh. Her response was perfect. I'm curious if it'll look edible or not. She likes to play. So then from here, he goes into like a conversation back and forth. Let's keep going. So he like immediately goes into kind of qualification stuff, right? And not in like a shitty like, oh, like you need to like prove yourself to me. He's just like, hey, like let me ask you a couple questions.
Trying to be loose, fun, flirty, playful, but also like, okay, here, let's line up and make sure that we're actually aligned. And I'm looking for certain criteria.
Yeah, it's literally that. You'll see at the end of this message, it's that. So, and you seem to be principled, self-aware, loyal, can handle yourself moving through the world, charming, fun. You told me no, which almost no one ever does. So yeah, I want to hang out, want to get to know you. I like rare things. Then I went full psycho and asked her what her MBTI was. Do you know your personality type? INFJT. What's yours? This is what it is with highly evolved EQ, nearly non-existent for my robot brethren. I figured you were INFJ. I felt it when we danced. You are so funny. She has to be friends. I said, absolutely not. I'm not collecting friends. I'm collecting alignment. You just love pretty girls that say no, LOL, nah. Endless line of pretty girls, boring. He goes through what he likes. And then they kind of like have some fun back and forth. Talking to her was the most fun I've had courting a girl. She told me later that she learned my writing style and a process from a podcast about my book. He wrote a book about Ringba Paper Call and started using it. I never played any games and was always direct with my intentions. She said if I had played games, she would have ghosted. Boys play games, men see clarity. My unicorn stats, this girl, 22, 9 plus hot, Vietnamese, INFJ, high IQ, entrepreneur's parents, loyal, hardworking, traditional family values, pretty much all the stuff that he mentioned. From here, our first call was 5 hours. We logged 78 hours of real conversation in 3 weeks. That's where the qualification happened. No, how was your day bullshit? I dive right in. Past, present, future, fears, goals, life lessons, what's important to her, personal growth. And I challenge, qualify, and create moments of reflection to see if change happens. That scares away almost everyone. Girl number 6, she wanted it. She wanted growth. She loved it. I did a compliance call with her mom and got approvals to take her to EDC Orlando for our first date. Moms love bodyguards. So again, like even the way that he's talking about it, I did a compliance call and got approval. Like this is all just like a business approach, right? So basically going to the end, what it took to find her: 4 months, $150,000 in Vegas, $10,000 on researchers, $50,000 on travel. I excluded jets. Look how I saved the rainforest is none of your business. All in $210,000 of unicorn hunting. And I had one hell of a time, gained a couple of sisters I love, and somehow succeeded in acquiring a mythical unicorn. She's funny too. Pro tip, I'm sober by choice, so the partying doesn't affect me. If you're not, doing what I did will destroy your health. Consider giving it up. It'll change your life. The toxic masculinity guys were right about a lot of things. So shout out to the red pillars for getting me thinking. If anyone can find one of these, it's me. Your students are fucked, of course. This girl is absolutely incredible. So incredible, it's taken some getting used to. I've never seen anything like it. 5 out of 5 stars. The cheat code to life is defining what you want specifically and refusing to bend your standards for anyone. Free yourself. Let your standards decide for you. If you believe you can or cannot, you're right. God damn, would I hate to compete with me. Good luck, boys. So, yeah.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
What are your thoughts?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in the game trying to find a wifey for a little bit. So I went and found mine nice and
traditional.
Nice and traditional without having to go through an entire process like this, and was still able to hold basically the same criteria, but find it in a more natural way. So yeah, I'm on a different level. But and like when we watched this other video we were talking about earlier with Alex Hormozy and stuff, like him and his wife, interesting dynamic is like after you get to this point of getting a relationship going, again, you know, everyone has their own different like lifestyle, but even somebody like him who is performing at such a level, he I mean, his wife is obviously heavily involved in business and stuff as well with them. So depends on the dynamic you want to have between the masculine and feminine. And if the man's just the breadwinner and the woman is just the, you know, some of the metrics he measured there. But Alex was talking about how him and Layla were, they spent like 2 weekends or something like that, or like apart in the entire time they've been together. And honestly, that's like basically identical for what my wife and I have going on. Once you actually have a relationship that is like just phenomenal, it's like, you know, yeah, life it does light you up. Like Warren Buffett would say too, is like the best investment that you can make is having a phenomenal partner, having the best wife or partner along with you. So what he put in as $100 grand, that seems like definitely a worthwhile investment. Something he probably maybe wished he did sooner, or would be okay even spending more money on once you actually get the right relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think the thing that I would probably say here is this. It's that you know, all of these red pill guys tend to have a common complaint of just like, oh, it's so hard to find like a good girl, like all modern women are like such trash. And I think whether you do it this way, whether you do it your way, or whether you do it like my way, the fact that you are only finding yourself exposed to trash women is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Like your vibe attracts your tribe.
100%.
And what you saw him play out in this big long article is just a very like expensive way of basically being like, hey, like I want to make sure that if you're entering my circle, whether it's romantic or whether it's on a personal level, that you are bringing the type of energy that I want to be around for a long period of time. And the thing that you need for that isn't money. It isn't a big company. It's not recognition. It's having a strong sense of self where you know what it is that you like, what it is that you want to be around, so that you can, and the ability to speak the truth with every word that comes out of your mouth, right? To really be okay with communicating what your needs are in a relationship up front, because you like yourself enough to be like, you know, if it's not for someone else, I totally get it. No sweat. And in the event that it's not for them, to not turn into a little bitch and be like, well, fuck you. Like, I know I'm better. Like that's not coming from a place of like genuine self-liking. That's coming from a place of like, I really don't like myself. And the fact that you don't like me makes me like myself less. So now I'm going to get mad at you for it.
Throwing a childish tantrum.
Exactly. And I think if there's anything, if you're in the money Twitter space, and the reason why I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this article here today is because, again, your vibe attracts your tribe. If you're looking out into the world and all you're seeing is garbage and nonsense and things falling apart, or that modern women are just trash and you can't find a real good woman, the problem is you, my dude. The problem is you. So I think that's probably the vibes message that I want to leave with people here today. One quick thing before we head over to yours. I
mean, I just found some random stuff.
That's okay.
So I don't know how dialed it in it is, but there is one, because you mentioned reality or truth, like when you're talking about I mean, truth is one thing that I figured out, like for me and my relationship, kept things so simple and clear, is like there's no lies, right? If you just don't bring bullshit into the interactions, or like that's for me now how I've been interacting with just everything in life. It's like I don't know. Maybe when I was a kid for a little bit, there was a point where I was like, I would make like little lies or like do some shit. Then you get yourself all tangled up or whatever, but then you learn the lesson. And then I hit a point where, you know, a relationship in the past where I'd been cheated on, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, I was like, oh, what brought that about was like little lies that gradually built up and made the relationship toxic, where I was like, now, if I want something to actually have real longevity and like work and like be the thing that's going to going to last and actually be legit and real? How do you know what's real these days, especially with AI? Like there's so much like fake crap coming out there, right? So you got to be real with yourself, at least the people you're doing business with, the relationships that you're developing, like just like build that as the foundation. And that's gonna be one of the best things that you can do, even if you're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody can be me.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Something that I worry about is because the red pill is ultimately such a narcissistic movement at its core. It's not that it doesn't get certain things right, but again, the vibe is that, oh, if you're not my vibe, then like that's your fucking loss. Get the fuck away from me, bitch.
Yeah.
That's the vibe of the red pill.
Yeah, it gets angry.
Right? Yeah, and it's that just comes from a place of like self-hatred. And the most comfortable place to go when you really don't like yourself and you feel like you have to lie to people or get mad at people when they don't like, accept you for who you are, is you go in the direction of what provides the least amount of resistance. And that's either trying to find a woman who's completely lobotomized and doesn't have any opinions and doesn't have any boundaries herself so that you can completely dominate her, or going in the direction of getting an AI girlfriend. And that last part sounds a little bit funny, but again, in this economy where you can get anything that you want at any moment, why not just go in the direction of getting an AI girlfriend that does exactly what it is that you want? And again, if you're one of these like red pill guys who just gets angry at women because modern women aren't like great or whatever, why not go and have like the AI girlfriend that will do everything that you want it to when you can't get girls in the first place, which is why you're consuming red pill content in the first place. The choice is yours, right? The choice is yours in terms of like what it is that you want to do. And as far as I'm concerned, if you want to go and like date an AI and not have children moving into the future, that honestly in my opinion, sets us up for a better future.
We'll have artificial wombs real quick here.
Yeah, exactly. So
we're going to get to the point pretty quick here where some of these technologies do come together and allow people to do that and do it successfully while procreating, which is, I don't know if that's the best way of things, but
yeah,
again, society's going to be society's splitting in a couple different directions. It might just be two paths right now. Where like most people talk about, like the conversation earlier of it's going to be the haves and the have-nots in a way, or the people who are like running with AI and actually building things, having ownership, the founders, right? And then people who are not there and needing to have UBI or universal basic income or UHI, as Elon Musk has said.
Or I think the haves or have-nots in this particular context of relationships is, do you have children that like carry your genetic code into the future? That's the have or have not.
Yeah.
And the thing that you got to keep in mind before you go like complaining about modern women is this, like, keep in mind that there are thousands of generations of people who came before you who had it significantly harder than you.
Yeah.
And they made the choices that allow you to be here today. And you're sitting here in 2026 in the most cushy of circumstances complaining about modern women. Like, give me a break. Like, truly give me a break.
Yeah, get over it.
So again, your vibe attracts your tribe. Learn from Adam Young. You don't have to spend $210,000 to get the same results, but it's an entertaining read.
Yeah,
especially for money Twitter, because I think that's like the dream of like the way that one would go about it if you have a lot of money and you're in money Twitter. So I thought it was a fun read. Really quick, one thing before we head over to anything, I just saw this pop up on my feed.
Yep.
This is from Polymarket. Just in, OpenAI is reportedly charging advertisers $60 for every 1,000 impressions for ChatGPT ads. In terms, let's go ahead and fact check it. True. Multiple reliable industry sources confirm this. I'm curious what people think about whether or not that's a super high CPM. I'm sure most people are going to say yes. Paying a $60 CPM to reach a demographic that has uBlock Origin installed in their dreams is a bold move by Sam. A $60 CPM that ChatGPT attention is high intent, high value, and scarce. If ads stay relevant and non-intrusive, this could become one of the most powerful. $60 CPM, probably worth it. Yeah, I think people are generally saying it's pretty high, but that it could pay off. 60 CPM, that's pretty rough. I think that will, I think the people who are watching this and like rejoicing are probably the people who are aspiring to be ChatGPT ad agencies.
Yeah.
because either they're going to feel like, the clientele that this is going to attract are people who have the $60 in the first place to invest, which means that their retainers are going to get paid. They're probably going to, like the really top performing agencies are going to get a percentage of ad spend on the back end of it. So I think this probably works out for ChatGPT. It probably works out for the ad agencies. Probably doesn't work out so well for the advertisers, at least at the beginning. But I don't think that ads inside of chatbots are going anywhere.
Going anywhere like
they're not disappearing. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, let's pull these out or whatever. I think the goal will be to figure out if it works best on a side panel, if it works best as like a clearly like a clear advertisement. And who knows, maybe someone really nails it and it's integrated into the answers in a way where you feel like it's okay for it to be intrusive in that way.
Maybe it's full on ad reads, like just like the AI voice just comes and starts ad reading before you're while you're waiting, you get the ad read while it's rendering, or
while it's rendering,
while it's actually working and figuring out the process, and like, oh, we're thinking while we're thinking.
By the way, have you heard of this? Yeah. It's so funny that you haven't seen the Truman Show. You would love the Truman Show on so many different levels.
I'm missing a few cultural things like that.
Yeah, I feel like we have to have a movie night soon. Did you send me any articles?
I sent a few.
Okay, let me go ahead and open these.
Close it up there first before you open it up there.
No, I think we'll just drag it up, or it'll automatically open up here. Actually.
I don't know.
Okay, so
I opened up a few. I haven't seen or watched what this is, but just because we were talking about truth, this was I thought it might be interesting. I have no idea what she's saying here. What's going on?
Okay, well let's read the post. If there's one learning lesson you need to take away in 2026, it's that the truth doesn't matter anymore and reality isn't real. People will invent narratives and facts to suit desired objectives, and if enough people agree, that's the new reality. People who point out that the emperor has no clothes will be crushed. Catherine Maher at Wikimedia said it best herself: "Our reverence for the truth is a hindrance to getting things done." All right.
Yeah, it's a little bit spooky.
Yeah. So keep in mind, Autism Capital is obviously going to be coming at this from like a conservative point of view, or like I wouldn't even say conservative, like a MAGA adjacent point of view kind of thing. Let's see what she has to say. And she's from, I never heard of this.
Wikimedia.
Lady.
Never heard of that.
Wikimedia. Okay, cool. Let's check it out.
But one of the most significant differences, critical for moving from polarization to productivity, is that the Wikipedians who write these articles aren't actually focused on finding the truth. They're working for something that's a little bit more attainable, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years there, I actually believe that they're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is preventing us from finding consensus and getting important things done. Now, none of that's to say that the truth isn't important. The truth obviously exists. It's at the core, or the search for the truth is at the core of some of our greatest human achievements. It can animate and inspire us to do, learn, and create great things. But I think in our messy human hearts, we also know that the truth is something of a fickle mistress, and that the beauty of the truth is actually often in the struggle. It's the reason that we have so many sublime chronicles of the human experience, because there are so many different truths to be explored. And so in this spirit, I know that the truth exists for each of you in this room. It also probably exists for the person sitting next to you. But the thing is, the two of you don't necessarily have the same truths. And this is because for many of us, truth is what we make when we merge facts about the world with our beliefs about the world. Each of us has our own truth, and it's probably a good one. It's based.
This is such a boring world philosophy. Holy shit. Yeah. It's sad to me that people actually ascribe to this. It's not scary because I think even, again, it's funny that this is coming from Autism Capital.
One of the most significant differences.
9 million views.
Yeah, it's funny that this is coming from Autism Capital because this is like the pot calling the kettle black. And it's not because Autism Capital is like compromised or anything like that, but like any content creator who like exists posting content online is participating in this dynamic, right? It's like we all have our own reality. Like it's the way of the world. And it's essentially going to turn into real democracy where like might becomes right, because like most people in society believe one thing and they're more powerful over the other side of the people who don't believe XYZ.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? And then I'll kind of get into it.
I don't know what my thoughts were on it, to be honest. Yeah, it's around truth is just like, it's such a conversation that like, I don't know if she has it defined. Like she's trying to say, like, I think I do feel like there are shared truths as far as what we know reality to be. And like to say that everybody has their own truth. I don't know. I feel like that's like, sounds like some bullshit. I mean, like we can have truth or like as to how we personally experience something, but it doesn't make that true. Right.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to, she's not wrong, at least the way that things are playing out right now. Everything is playing out in that direction where everyone has their own truth. And this is ultimately something that I think a lot of people on the left actively espouse for, that there is no truth. This is something that critical like race theory, for example, is built upon, is that there's no objective reality, essentially. And the funny thing here is I think a lot of people on the right have honestly been co-opted by this thinking. Much more than they would be willing to necessarily admit. But I think the thing that it kind of boils back down to is to a certain degree, right? Life and reality is a bit of a fiction at the end of the day. Who I am as like a person, as how I view my personality, is a fiction. It's based on the things that I happen to remember throughout my past that benefits some version of myself that I can like look in the mirror at and be like, okay, like I like this person. But that requires me forgetting a lot of like different elements of me, not because I necessarily choose to, but because my brain just can't like fit everything in. Right. So to a certain degree, my conceptualization of myself is a life fiction. It's not true per se.
Yeah.
However,
it's the intentional molding of specific data points
towards an outcome,
towards one desired outcome.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've mentioned this yesterday too. I think the thing that society is sort of running into here is like, again, she is not necessarily wrong with the observation of what's happening in society. I think the thing that would fix this is if there was a shared objective that we start to work towards, because then all of our life fictions start to kind of move in a similar direction where we can have a conversation about what's true and not true, or what's an optimal way of going about something and what's not, when we have a shared goal. When the goal is just calling the other person like an idiot and being like, you're completely wrong, without any shared vision. And in some cases where one side has no vision whatsoever and one side might have like a really old, outdated vision that needs to be updated, then you run into a situation where it really is truly like everyone has their own truth and no one can work together.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's wrong. I think it's ultra ironic that this guy is posting this as if it's like a bad thing, because again, just all content creators exist inside of this paradigm. Essentially, interesting post when he said Wikimedia. I think Wikipedia,
it's
yeah,
media for Wikipedia.
Yeah. So interesting point of view coming from Wikipedia too. I think it's really sad that an executive at a company is like coming out and making statements like this. I think it's just an example of like how
saying there's no truth.
Yeah,
we all just like can just like bend and mold what things are, and like there's no real meaning to things, and then in that sense though, it's like how do we have any shared ground to stand on in our conversations of finding, as you're saying, that shared goal?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Again, right now the shared ground that we stand on top of is the ground of casino economics. Like it's sad. This statement coming from a C-suite of a major organization is just a sad reflection, I think, of where culture is, and part of the reason why I'm happy I'm living in Bali. Part of the reason why I think part of the ethos of a lot of guys inside of Money Twitter is to just get out. Yeah. They don't even know necessarily what it is that they're getting out of. It's not necessarily the West. It's not necessarily like financial structures or whatever, though I think sometimes it specifically is both of those things.
It's but like something else and somewhere else will be better than where we currently
we just heard. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this one. Okay,
this one isn't really. We don't have to even play this, but I mean, it's this, as this guy says, my brain hurts. Right? It's like 2016. People are still ignorant about Bitcoin. This is just her trying to explain something about Bitcoin, but just it clearly shows she has no comprehension of what she's talking about.
Let's see. I want to see, because like at the end of the day, again, I'm not invested in Bitcoin. I feel like I can have a conversation about it, but let's see if I'm on her level.
Bitcoin itself, or cryptocurrency itself, it's actually the mining. It takes a colossal amount of computing power to mine a single Bitcoin. It uses up as much energy as some entire countries still. Just Bitcoin, not cryptocurrency in general.
And in terms of if it is a good investment or not, you had some interesting comparisons with that, didn't you?
Basically, if you look at sort of the recent history, you're better off just buying a bunch of Pokemon cards than Bitcoin. It is just a big betting market. The other problem is that you can't use Bitcoin for anything. So if you've got a bunch of Bitcoin, it's hard to make a transaction. Very few places accept it. The average carbon footprint of a flight from London to New York is smaller than a single Bitcoin transaction. So environmentally, it would be better to just take your cash and put it in a briefcase and fly it to wherever you're sending it.
What are your responses to these? Because like, again, from an outsider, if I were to look at the level of inflation with like Pokemon cards over the last like, let's say 10 years, 15 years, I might actually say something similar, but like, I guess I still wouldn't.
The slot machine mechanics.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, this is leaning towards slot machine mechanics more than something that at least has it's kind of parallels to the previous conversation of it, something that at least defines a form of truth. Here's a general truth that we can all agree upon, this consensus of there's this many tokens, right? We all know that there's this many tokens. It's decentralized. We all have the ability to whatever percentage of Bitcoin's not like, oh, you have this many Bitcoins. It's like Bitcoin is like the network as a whole. So everyone has like a fraction of what that is, right? And then the ability to transact. She's saying you can't do that. It's like, people are transacting with it quite regularly.
Between each other, or
can be between each other. Like when we were in Europe, or like, there's different places you can just buy places. I mean, here too, like people are buying properties outright with Bitcoin, right? It hasn't been as obviously it's becoming more adopted on a global scale by nations, allowing people to have the ability to use it more so now. But it's been up until Trump just recently got in that it was like absolutely like you're a leper if you were in the crypto space and trying to transact, because they're labeling it as everybody's doing dark web stuff with it.
Yeah,
which is not, I think, I mean, yes, it's happened, but still comparatively, if you look at that to the traditional financial system in every metric, it's like it's a cleaner currency, or store of value.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think one thing that I'm very bullish on when it comes to Bitcoin in general is more of like the underlying blockchain technology. Being able to have like a publicly and decentralized, agreed upon what's the word that I'm looking for?
Consensus mechanism,
and a way to track like where things are moving from place to place in a way that's decentralized, I think is the way of the future. So, but yeah, there was one other thing that I was looking for. What was it? I don't know.
There. Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to.
Cool.
This thing is great. Like I said, I don't know if that's legit or if he's just trolling, talking about getting his account banned by
which guy?
By Claude, whatever the previous one you just had open was. Yeah, this one. Just talking about permanently banned from accessing Claude due to using Claude bot, and like because his API got flagged for something and detailed giving your account to local authorities. I don't know if this is just he's trolling or if that's legit, but it's also something that's interesting of like, hey, the interactions people think they're having with these AIs feels like it's in private in a sense, might start flagging things soon enough where you have like real authorities rolling up to your house.
Yeah, I mean,
do something that they're thinking. I mean, in the UK and other places, you're getting arrested for just opinions online. So
yeah, in the US, the government can subpoena your chat records, and they obviously have a perfect history of everything that you've put in.
Yeah,
which makes me wonder why they can't have a perfect history of memory when I'm having a conversation with it. If you can provide it to the US government, you can add it to the context of my conversation.
Yeah.
That's my general critique on that Sam Altman. Cool. Well, I think this is probably a good as place as any to wrap up for the day.
Yep.
Good conversation today. Really great conversation with Driss. I thought that was really just again, you can tell when you're talking to someone and they're just on, and they're in the center of it, and that was a really great second guest. If you're watching,
let's do more of that.
Yeah, if you're watching, comment below. Let us know some people that you would be interested in us having on the show to ask some questions of, and you're obviously more than welcome to always ask your questions for them inside of the chat as well. So thank you all for watching. This has been a wonderful second broadcast of this wonderful show, and we will see you guys